the story at some point today. I don't know if it's been posted yet, but we'll.
All right. First off, let me
out.
just say this. That's 4.5 sandwiches right there. Okay?
Yes,
4.5
right.
sandwiches that are down the drain. That's number one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this on my way home. This is the economic part start coming in. Or it's 3 sandwiches for Clinton, right? Because Clinton does the double-decker. That's number one. Number two, how is that game created? It has to be during COVID, right? Like you're not doing anything.
No, I have a theory. So just for people that maybe you've seen it on TikTok, maybe or whatever, that you put 4 open-faced peanut butter sandwiches in a tic-tac-toe grid.
Yep.
Right? And you put them on, and then you throw ping pong balls at them.
4.5.
And you try to get it to stick, and you play tic-tac-toe. Like all games, and Al and I played yesterday. They'll post it here in a bit. Like all games like that, they're created out of boredom and alcoholism.
Yes.
This is what happens because you're sitting around having a few drinks with your buddies, and there's nothing good on TV.
Yep.
And so you're getting a little bored. Somebody says, "Hey, you want something to eat?" Well, all we really got is bread and peanut butter. And so you put together a sandwich, and then maybe you leave a piece on the and then somebody goes, "Hey, I bet I can hit that sandwich with this ping pong ball." And then fast forward 45 minutes, and now we got him in a grid, and we're playing tic-tac-toe.
So I think this
same way curling, same way anything that bowling. Hey, I bet I can knock down those sticks with this rock.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've had 11 whiskeys. I bet you can't.
So I think there are times where alcohol is influenced. This one, you're 100% high. You got to be stoned.
Same difference. Yes,
Yeah, this one
enough.
is I'm making peanut butter sandwiches, and all of a sudden I've decided as I'm ripped that I'm going to now play tic-tac-toe with a couple of the friends. What was wrong with us and not being able to hit the one nearest to us?
We were not very good at the
Kept
game.
going left.
You were better at it than I was.
Trev, it's 2 feet in front of us. We kept going left.
I know. We were not good at it. I don't know what to say other than neither one of us were good at it, but I was worse than you. So, I mean,
I will take that.
That's the way it goes. You won the game. It was a bad deal. Emily, you experienced your first California earthquake this morning?
Well, I don't know if it was my first, but I definitely was the biggest, the one I could sense the most. Yeah, I was woken up at 2 a.m. with everything in my room shaking. And so especially I have my necklaces like hang down. So like if it shakes, like it's very loud. So I was woken up by my necklace is shaking. And I was like, either someone's in my room or there's an earthquake. And
You're both bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but one has a more immediate response than the other. But yeah, it was and I had a hard time getting back to sleep. And so I had a late start this morning. So I'm a little frazzled today.
Did you wake up from the earthquake or from the necklaces shaking?
I guess it was from the earthquake, but like the necklaces were louder than everything else shaking.
Did you?
I can't wake up at a 4.2. I'm not waking up.
I didn't feel it either.
I don't know what like the level is that will finally wake me up.
Most of them wake me up. This one did not. I'm a little further south, so it's kind of. I think the epicenter was around Malibu.
Yeah, and then goes to Long Beach. Essentially, was how people felt it.
Yeah.
So you probably were not.
I did not get that. Did you wake up and immediately put on your clip-on bangs, or did you just sit there in your bangless existence and kind of ride the earthquake?
So it's hard because I don't. What do I do with these now? Like, where do I store them? Because wherever I store them, they're always like a little scary. Like I'll pull it out and it's like, is that a tarantula or is that a different spider? No, it's just my bangs that are there. And so
wear them Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, gotcha. I'll just try a look. And so my family and I have a shared Amazon account. And so, sometimes if you are checking in your order, you might just see like what my sister's getting in Orlando or whatever. And so she texted me yesterday and she was like, I was wondering why you got fake bangs because she listened to the show. And I was like, yeah, just had it for a bit, I guess. But yeah, I don't know where to store them, where it's a normal thing.
Just put them in the glove compartment of your car. That feels like the right spot for those. Taylor, did you?
Bangs.
You might need a disguise or something.
Like Bobby Valentine.
No, I didn't feel the earthquake at all. Didn't wake up.
Nothing.
Snore through it. Yeah.
So you guys, Al and I are native Californians and have been through a bunch of these, and some of them are. I don't want to say fun. They're never fun, but you realize, okay, it's a little soft one and just kind of rolls and it's not a big deal. And then there's the one that starts like that and then picks up in intensity. And the next thing you know, everything's falling off the shelves and the house feels like it's on, roller skates. It's terrifying. They're super noisy. And I'm curious how you guys, because the second I feel the ground moving, I'm up. I'm up, I'm moving, I'm getting to a doorway, and now it's like make sure the kids are doing what they're supposed to do, but I am up immediately. Do you guys sit in the bed and see, all right, do I need to get up for this one or not, and just kind of wait it out?
I don't move.
You just kind of lay there?
I just kind of like, all right, well, if this is it.
How bad does it have to get before you'll get up?
So here's the thing. I haven't really experienced a really bad one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
I
okay.
haven't.
Oh,
So
well, I
that's-
hope you never do.
But that's the thing is it comes down to have you gone through it, and if you haven't gone through it, and it is kind of funny, but why do I feel like San Diego is different than L.A. when it comes to the earthquakes? So the earthquakes
Maybe
that L.A.
less
has
intense,
had, I
perhaps?
think less intense.
Yeah.
But I think the earthquakes that L.A. has had has been much worse than SD has experienced.
I go back to the Northridge quake back in the 90s.
And everyone who talks
Right.
about that shakes them a certain way that, it's never going to
As
get
I
out of your
talk
head.
about it right now, the hair on my arm is standing up. That's how scary it was. Because I was with Susan. She was in school at Loma Linda going to nursing school. And so I was visiting her out there. So we're way out in the IE, right? We're way out east in Riverside. A good, what's Riverside to Northridge? At least 50 miles, maybe more, maybe 60 or 65. And we're in her little apartment. And the next thing you know, it felt like the end of the world was happening. The place is going side to side, and there was this metal like staircase outside of her apartment that felt like it was being ripped to pieces. It was the scariest thing. And then you get those aftershocks afterwards. So from that, I was like you. It's like, it's no big deal. I'm just going to sleep through. You'd wake up, okay, it's over. Just fall right back asleep. The second I hear a truck drive by my front door, I'm out. I'm standing like, okay, is it happening again? I am forever scarred by those things. So she said to me this morning, did you feel the earthquake? I didn't even know there was one.
No.
Had I seen the news report, I would have hid under the table.
If I didn't open up Twitter, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah. And
there was an
also,
earthquake.
what woke me up was the fire trucks too that are going by, because like I can hear. I'm a very light sleeper, and so like the fire trucks going by, I guess to do like a wellness check or like check around the city to see how it does. But I did have a really bad earthquake in Virginia.
Really?
So this is really it's.
Can I ask a stupid question?
It's super rare.
Okay.
It never happens.
That was the question.
Yeah.
Fair question.
It hasn't happened like in 100 years or whatever, but a huge earthquake happened. Coincidentally near a nuclear power plant,
Oh,
but
sure.
let's just say it's an earthquake. And so,
Al, has she stolen your browser history?
Yes, she has.
so
I'm gonna look
anyway,
that up right now.
it was similar to like because in Virginia we don't do earthquake drills, so we don't really know what to do. But I remember hearing, okay, go in the doorway. So my sisters and I were home. My parents were not home. It was right before. It was the day before we started school, and so we went to the doorway because we were like hearing it shake and everything. And we're like, do we go outside? And then the next day, our first day of school got canceled because they needed to test the structural integrity of all of our schools to make sure they didn't fall down. And so we got an extra day of summer vacation. So earthquakes to me
Yeah,
are
she's
only
rooting
an
for him.
extra day. Yeah.
That's not something you want. You
I
do
like
not
the-
want one of these.
I like
here.
how she went that route.
Yeah, no.
I
It's
wasn't
like-
expecting that route.
It's like us here. Like, I wish I got some snow days. It's like, no, you don't. A blizzard sounds miserable. That we don't
Right,
have
exactly.
those is probably pretty good. Taylor, have you ever had one that scared the what out of you?
First earthquake I felt was actually at Dodger Stadium. The Pods were in town, and
Oh, boy.
I heard a bunch of screaming in the upper deck. Thought like a fight was going on or something. Dodgers fans, Padres fans. But sure enough, earthquake. Then 25 seconds later, they, play ball. Let's go back to it.
No, thank
I don't
you.
think Padre fans fight. I think that might have just been more of.
They seem to be on the wrong end of Dodger fans,
Yeah.
of Raider fans.
Yeah,
They
just- yeah.
not that they're, not a
Kind of more shake hands kind of guys. You know what I
say,
mean?
enjoy the game.
Yeah. It's kind
Good
of.
luck. Hey, you guys, can I get you fish taco? Can I get you a little Ballast Point beer? Can I get you something?
This
you
is
know,
looking tense.
little
Can I get
San
you
Diego?
something to eat?
You guys, I'm telling you, a little cabbage on there, a little crema. You're gonna love a fish taco. Everybody, calm down.
By the way, if a fight's going down and that's the offer, tell me the fight's not done.
I mean, it would never start. I would offer before when guys getting heated. Guys, hey, hold on a second. It's a Padre game. Everybody relax.
Just offered you fish tacos.
Fish taco. There's a microbrewery around every corner in this ballpark. Everybody just calm down a little bit and enjoy the game.
Where's green sauce at a game?
Not a bad way to
But
do it.
Travis,
Not a bad way to
are
do
you
it.
a big like earthquake preparer? Like, do you have a whole kit? Like, do you have a whole survival?
He has an
kit?
underground bunker.
I mean, I
with a
wouldn't be
3-foot
surprised.
steel ceiling, reinforced concrete and steel.
Panic room.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like with one of those big wheels, like a bank vault. You go and you go, brrrr, and it
you
spins
go-
around and chunk chunk.
If you
We're
go
locked
in the
there
bunker,
forever.
you can actually walk 13 miles. That's how far you've dug down there.
To answer your, can I be a halfway prepper? Is that a
Sure,
thing you
what,
can be?
What do you have?
Well, we have whatever we had from Susan's last trip to Costco because, as far as I can tell, she's prepping for something. There is so much junk in my garage that is like supplies, right? Like sparkling water, cans of sparkling. We have more paper towels than you could possibly use in a lifetime, and toilet paper. It's an insane amount of and rice and pasta and things like that. So we're not preparing for like doomsday or an earthquake, but if
they
it happened,
can't survive to 2037 with
Yes.
what they currently have at their house.
But if it did happen, I'm cool.
should have told anybody, bro.
Look, Al, I could share with my whole street. Not that anybody would. I don't think they think anybody lives in our house, other than the cars occasionally leave. We'd have plenty for everybody. So if you can make your way, if the apocalypse happens and you can make your way to my neighborhood, I'll hook you up with some paper towels and rice.
If the apocalypse happens at the Sliwa household, we have enough till Saturday. And Rookies gets everything. My girl wouldn't feed me.
And we eat Rookie.
Oh my God.
I knew you were gonna
Dark, Travis.
I thought that's what. Look, hey,
no,
you got to do what you got to do at some point.
What
Remember
was
that
going to
rugby?
happen is Rookie would survive more than I would because my girl would give Rookie all the food.
Just remember that Uruguayan rugby team in the Andes. You got to do what you got to do. You know, if you're trapped, you're trapped. There are no options.
We have at my house. We have we have enough. We have not really enough. We have like a bunch of water bottles. We have like first aid kit. We have all that good stuff that like the 2 days afterwards we can be fine, but not much longer. What would you need in your survivor kit that's like not like a typical thing, like not like Band-Aids or whatever else, but like you need your baseball cards, you need a charger for your phone. Like what do you think is like not necessity that you would put into your survival kit?
Good question. I'd have to think about that. I don't have like a ton of possessions that I have to have. My golf clubs maybe, especially my putter. I really like my putter, so I'm taking ammunition, water, and my putter. Those are the three things I'm taking along the way. Sounds pretty good. Lakers, 10 in a row, Slee. What are we doing against the Clippers?
Don't do that.
I'm hoping you can give me a little insight. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710. No, thank you. No, I know that every region has their natural disaster du jour. Where you get hurricanes. Taylor, where you grew up, you get tornadoes.
Twisters.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Fires out here.
Fires out here.
Yep.
Mudslides out here.
Virginia, you get
earthquakes out
hurricane,
here.
you get tornadoes, and you get snow.
So here's the thing, and I'm obviously a homer when it comes to disaster rankings, power rankings. Earthquakes just show up. Like a hurricane, is coming. It doesn't, there's not a hurricane that came on in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Tornadoes kind of show up pretty fast too, right?
Yeah, but it's come. I mean, earthquakes terrify me the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most unpredictable.
I don't. Hurricane sounds
the
bad
earth
too.
opening up. Yeah. No, thank you.
Don't say it like that. That's no good. That's
The gates of
I'm
hell.
gonna
That's
take the
a
rest of the
very
day off.
scary way
Throw
of
all those
saying
paper
it.
towels in there.
The earth.
Well, the Earth moves, Al.
Yep.
The plates.
Yep.
Right? Remember 8th grade geology and the plates, and they go
Tectonic plates.
and then all of a sudden everything just moves.
Now you have
San
mountains.
Francisco's like a mile closer to LA because it moved.
Yeah, let's not have that happen in the ocean here right off.
Yeah,
Let's
that
not
sounds
have that
bad.
happen.
I do know this. I do know this because I'm a scaredy cat and I like to know what I'm in for. We don't get those. Like the ones that you're talking about, like in Japan.
Yeah.
Tsunamis.
It's the way that the plates come together.
Yeah.
We don't get those. We have different plates here.
But we did have a tsunami warning last year. Remember that?
But that's coming from the other side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's not that it's not scary, but anyway, let's talk about the Clippers.
Yeah, let's do that.
A little less
What the hell
scary.
just happened here?
Well, it's an earthquake last
Natural
night.
disasters.
They're pretty scary. They're pretty scary. The Clippers have been better than the Lakers for a while, just generally speaking, right? The Lakers obviously had the championship a few years ago. The Clippers haven't done anything like that. But the Lakers and the Clippers haven't been like Golden State Warriors good, and the Lakers haven't been, I don't know, Charlotte Hornets bad for 10 times in a row. How have they beaten them 10 times in a row? Because it's the NBA. The Lakers have LeBron played great last night. That you would think at some point you could win 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and that's kind of a representation of a good team against a team that's struggling. 10 in a row just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, here's the problem too. Going into yesterday's game, the Clippers have been a very interesting squad. Om Youngmisuk, who covers the Clippers and the NBA for ESPN, came on the pregame show, and Michael and I talk about the Clippers pretty frequently during the pre, because there's certain teams out there you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Go look at the squad on paper. How are they only 500, or how are they 2 games below 500, whatever the case is? And Om kind of explained that their strategy is a little bit unique. They're 100% resting players so that they're fresh for the final stretch and the playoffs. Obviously, Kawhi and PG the most important. They've had the Lakers number now. You don't even have to go till the last 10 wins. I saw a stat yesterday, and I don't know it exactly off the top of my head, but it was like 35 of 41 games that they've beat. It was something like that. Because remember, the CP3 days, the CP3 Blake Griffin days.
Oh, sure, Lob City.
They were running through the Lakers.
Yeah, well, they were a lot better than the Lakers at that point. That's more of what I was saying at the beginning. Like, you have a team that's a solid A at that point. Not championship good, but really, really good.
Yeah.
And the Lakers were in the midst of developing all of those draft picks.
Well, and then last night was one of those where you're like, all right, look, Lakers have pretty much hung with a lot of teams. Doesn't mean they're going to beat every one of them, but they hang with these teams. Before you turn, it's 9-0. By halftime, you're down 23.
Game was it? They had a 10-point lead like 2 minutes into the game.
Right. So
Crazy.
And just take that off of, I think they hit 15 threes in the first half, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
They ended up shooting 60% from the field. They shot 50% from 3. They look like the 92 Dream Team against the Lakers. and I will say, obviously for the Lake Show, it's about getting your players back. Okay, what can you do when you're fully healthy versus when they're fully healthy? That's what you're kind of hoping for. Clippers just have dominated the Lakers. They've had their number. Lakers had no answer for them yesterday. And I will say it does kind of – I know for the Clippers – I don't know how most people feel about them, but I still look at them and say they have too good of a roster not to be a real contender in the West. But until they actually are a real contender in the West, I think there's always going to be that hesitation.
So I get what you're saying about the roster, and I know how you feel about the Clippers personally, but do you watch them a lot when they're not playing the Lakers? Like, do you get to see – because I don't watch them a ton, but I see them enough. When they play the Lakers, they look like a different team than when they play against everybody else.
They do. I agree with that.
They have a different swagger. They have a different, we're going to kick your, and not in a boisterous, loud, arrogant, super, almost like you're faking it kind of thing. Just in a,
It means something to them.
well,
It's a chip.
Maybe it's that, or maybe it's just, look, I know I'm better than you are, and my team is better than your team. I know it, you know it, and we're going to go out there and show it to you again. And it's not in an arrogant way. It's just they know they're going to find their groove, their rhythm, whatever it might be against the Lakers. And look, LeBron had another night last night that was just crazy, and it still wasn't good enough. The Clippers just did what they did, got off to a huge lead. Lakers cut it back down again, and then when Paul George and Kawhi needed to kind of put the game away, they were able to do it. It feels like I've seen that movie 100 times, and the Lakers can't stop it from happening.
They were never in – that game was never a threat.
Didn't
Just
feel
wasn't,
like it.
Right? That even when they got it down to 10. And the place, fans were excited. Hey, maybe we got something here. And then a couple of buckets before you know it, it's back up to 16. The Clippers have something that is really unique with their team specifically. They got really good players that don't even play. That they have 12, 13 guys that they have on a consistent basis, a night in, night out basis. Bron has said this for the last week or so. We have to play perfect basketball to win games. That there's no margin for error. That even if Bron gives you 46 and hits 9 threes, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but unless Thomas Bryant, Dennis Schroeder, Russell Westbrook, unless everybody else has a good night as well, they get some breaks on the other side, kind of got to play perfect basketball. So that's kind of the situation that the Lakers have been.
Yeah, I get the idea of perfect basketball, but then there's the idea of it seems every single night they're spotting the other team a 10-point lead, a 12-point lead, a 15-point lead. Last night it was up over 20 again, and that's not being not being perfect. That's just not being ready to go. I don't know what it is, and I can't even kind of put my finger on whose responsibility that is. But I get it that the Clippers were otherworldly hot last night, right? They were. But most of those three-point shots were wide open looks. It's not like they were throwing in circus shots. They were getting really good looks at the basket, and they were making shots. You can't, to your point, you can't be undergunned the way that the Lakers are right now and spot teams double-digit leads right out of the gate. You're not good enough to come back from that on a regular basis. I don't quite know why they're coming out of the gates as slowly as they are. And last night was a perfect example. They're constantly trying to chip away at these giant leads. And to your point, you're barely good enough to win games just straight up, much less trying to come back from 15, 20-point deficits.
So down double digits against Clippers yesterday. Portland game, I don't need to tell you, they were down 25. Memphis, they were down double digits. For most of the game, they were down 8 to 10, somewhere around there. Sacramento played the Kings. Lakers went up early, but after that, Sacramento took the lead. It's a bad trait, and I don't have an answer for you. I think you are right, and I think that the further the season that you go,
is it the coach's issue? Like, are they not ready to go? I don't, because Darvin's not he's a pretty tough-minded guy. Once in a while is one of those things, but it's kind of.
Can I give you an idea of what I would say? A lot of it stems from. This is their starting lineup, so I'm just going to give you an idea of their starting lineup, okay? It's Thomas Bryant, Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverly, Troy Brown Jr., and LeBron James.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not a good starting lineup. It's just not. So include Bron there, do whatever you want to do. There's not enough talent that if Thomas Bryant and Dennis Schroeder don't have really good games, there's probably a good chance they're going to fall behind. So I think there's a combination of they don't have the talent that they need on a night-in, night-out basis, and then they got to play on top of that. That starting lineup's got to look really good. The games that they've won, you can't depend on this because it's not going to happen. They're role players. That's a definition of a role player, somebody that you don't depend on every single night. They're depending on role players to have big performances every single night. Dennis Schroeder's not going to give you 25 a night.
Right.
Neither is Thomas Bryant. And the games that those two guys specifically don't have good nights, they end up losing the game.
They chip away at it, though. And this is the part that they're in such a weird spot. Because they're undermanned. Because they are playing LeBron just bonkers minutes because they have no other option, right? Their only chance to win games is to play LeBron heavy minutes. I get it. Whatever that lineup is that's chipping away at those leads, that's the lineup you got to play more of that, right? Whether it's Russell Westbrook or whoever, those guys need to play more together because you just don't have enough runway left to say, we'll wait for the cavalry to come back. Like, you have to find a way, like we were talking about yesterday, win games against a team like the Clipper where you're all kind of bunched together. Now you're not so bunched together anymore. It starts to spread out when you lose some of those. I know it's you're burning the candle at both ends. I understand that, but what other option do you have?
So I think there is something about when Russ comes in. Russ ain't perfect, but Russ helps the Lakers right now.
Without doubt.
Right? Like,
without
and
doubt.
that's even with him having nights like last night where he didn't shoot well. He wasn't efficient. But Russ is obviously helping the Lakers. They do end up with a lineup that when LeBron goes and takes a quick little breather, okay, now that lineup's not that good. But when it's Bron, Russ, Dennis Schroeder, there is a lineup out there that they end up going with for, let's say, 25 minutes a night, that they kind of start bringing them back. They start that run. Listen, I think
play them 48 minutes.
There's help coming.
Just go out there and play them all.
Trav, I got here's the bottom line. There is some help coming, and that's what they got to depend on, because I don't think they have enough talent to win against these teams of this level. It's really difficult for the Lakers to do that.
Look, as currently constructed last night, they're not going to win a ton of games. They're going to win a few, but they're not going to win enough to be interesting down the stretch. With the guys coming back, it might change. But are they done? Which brings us to the next thing. Rob Pelinka was talking yesterday and made it sound like maybe I will, maybe I won't, which I think is exactly the right place to be when you're negotiating. That's coming up next. Plus, we've got Ask Amanda coming up at about 10:45. So go ahead and send me those tweets at Travis Rogers. I got some good ones already. I'm not going to lie. We are in a good spot right now. We can always use more. 877-710-ESPN if you want to do it on the phone. At Travis Rogers if you want to do it on Twitter. Rob Pelinka's talking. That's coming up next. Trav and Slee.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm here at the 909 Sports Bar here inside Yamava Casino, the greatest sports bar in Southern California and probably the world. Over 170 LED monitors, monster screens, people and energy, a massive amount of beers, and I promise you this, the food is off the charts. And then over there, 7,000 slot machines and hundreds of table games in this world-class resort. Yo, I'll see you here on Championship Sunday. Let's all get together for both games here at the 909 at Yamava.
Come out to the 909 at Yamava for our next watch party on January 29th.
Wednesday, coming up in minutes. We usually do Ask Slee, but today we do a roaring edition of Ask Amanda. Yes, our boss, the great Amanda Brown. And of course, that reminds me of the first time Amanda was ever part of Ask Slee. Do we have the tape? Play the tape.
Like, to get this straightened out.
Okay.
Do you indeed have a Murphy bed?
It's a good question.
This is fantastic.
It's a fair question.
Ask Amanda. Coming up around 10:45 this hour on Travis and Sliwa on 710.
Disappointed her. I didn't have one.
You should get one just for the gag. You should get one and still have it be in a weird spot too, like in the bathroom or the kitchen or something like that. The garage.
Put it right here in the dining room.
The dining room. Perfect.
Put it right here.
Just somewhere super weird where it's like,
I'm
what
Airbnb-ing
is
the place.
Yeah, exactly.
11 beds in there.
Well, Travis, now I'm just Googling pictures of the Northridge earthquake, and I'm really
kind of upsetting.
I'm very scared. Why do I live here?
Yeah, well, it's pretty nice out today. I don't know if you've been outside. It looked pretty good. Al, I was telling you the story, the 89 World Series up in the Bay Area.
That's crazy.
Obviously, everybody's seen the pictures. The Giants and the A's are playing in the World Series. I was a freshman at UCSB. We were at practice when the earthquake struck, right? I'm standing in the outfield shagging balls, and you could feel the ground kind of move. And you're like, and then you kind of look across the outfield, and you could kind of see the ground kind of rippling. It was
outta here, bro.
super.
Like a cartoon.
I was in Santa Barbara. The earthquake was in San Francisco. I don't know what that is. It's 250, 300 miles away. And we're thinking, okay, this had to have happened, somewhere close. Happened 300 miles away. It was so freaky. Talking to you, talking to Greg. Greg's like, yeah, I slept through the Northridge earthquake. And he lives in the valley. I'm like, well, that's crazy talk. That's like serial killer stuff.
First off, he didn't have a good night's sleep the night before. So he was really getting his shut-eye in.
And you're like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. Like that you're not scared of them either makes me feel like a wuss or you're crazy.
I haven't gone through that. Like somebody was hitting me on Twitter. He's like, what, you guys didn't feel it in San Diego? Yeah, it's about 150 miles away. Whatever we felt in SD was going to be a lot different than probably, closer to 200 miles away.
It was very, very scary. A lot of people wanting to relive Northridge. Let's not. Let's just say, let's be happy that what happened last night was nice and light, and we'll just it's like letting it's like a pressure cooker. You just let a little steam out just to make sure everything's cool every once in a while.
Everyone's okay.
Can't let it build up.
But also, if you guys have more apocalypse, packing ideas, send them our way because those are kind of funny.
I like that. Rob Pelinka talked yesterday, and he said a lot of things that I like. I want to start with this one, Slee, talking about making deals, and you want to be careful that you don't do it too quickly.
The completely unwise thing to do would be to shoot a bullet early and then not have it later when you have a better championship move you could make. So that's a really delicate calculus, and it's something that the entire front office, we evaluate with all the moves. And if we see a move that puts us as the front runner to get another championship, the 18th one here, we'll make it. And if that move doesn't present itself, we'll be smart and make it at a later time.
That is what I've been saying to you for 2 years now. Like, I get the idea of making a move, but you need to make a move that is going to make you a championship caliber team, or at least what you think could be a championship caliber team, because the last thing you want to do is do something that's kind of a half measure and then realize a year from now, 2 years from now, that if I still had that, I could have actually done something that would have improved the team a great deal. That actually gives me a little bit of comfort when I hear him say it quite like that.
Well, I think they've proven. Listen, look at the pressure over the last year for the Lakers. Last season was a disaster. Leading up to the trade deadline, you remember how much pressure was on the front office. Trade Russ. This isn't working. Do this, do that. They didn't do it. And then you got to the offseason. Offseason was go get Buddy Hield and go get Miles Turner. Who cares about those 2 draft picks? Get rid of them. And Lakers didn't make a move in the offseason. Then the season started. You start out 2-10. Go make a move. Go do this. They've been under a lot of pressure. So I think it does say something that here we are sitting today, still 2 weeks left in the trade deadline, and the Lakers kind of as best as they could let the water calm down a little bit. And I'm not telling you that they're in a perfect spot. I do think if Anthony Davis comes back and Hachimura is that 6'8" wing that they need, and Austin Reeves and Lonnie Walker, I don't think they're a bad team. I think you can kind of take your chances with the squad that you have. Are they going to go be a favorite? Of course not. And I think there's probably a lot of other teams in the West, too, that don't have this clear-cut path. The only thing that I will add to this, I like that they made the move this early.
For Hachimura?
For Hachimura. Because I think you got one of those things accomplished that you needed. We need a wing player. We need somebody that can hit some threes, that could be a good defender. You still got 2 weeks left, right? The trade deadline's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Trav, maybe they do nothing. Maybe if they really want to go get Bogdanović, but 6 other teams want Bogdanović, and the move just isn't smart to make, then they probably don't make a move. But I think that quote tells you we're not sitting here that we don't want to. We understand we got LeBron and AD. We just also have to make sure that we make a move that makes sense for everybody.
There's something to be said for the way that they were operating just a year ago, right? When they went out and got Russ originally. And it felt to me that was just one of those, hey, let's just do something splashy and let's do something that'll be kind of win the press conference kind of deal. That Russell Westbrook, obviously a huge name in NBA circles. He's a former MVP, and I don't need to read his resume. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what it is. But it felt like one of those, okay, we're gonna just go for it right here because it's time to go for it right here, and that's a big name, and let's do it. Where it felt, and I'm not saying that I was the only one that had, but if you watched him play and you watched what the Lakers needed, it just didn't really feel like someone sat down and said, hold on a second, we sure that this is a good fit? Fast forward to where we are right now, I think they're doing that. I think it's much more deliberate with the, all right, Hachimura makes sense. What's the price? Nah, not crazy. Let's do it. Okay, let's get it done. As opposed to, hey, listen, we got to do something. We got 2 for, let's just see if we can go get, Miles Turner. Just send him out there and bring it back in or whatever it might be. It seems like there's been a return to some deliberate methodology that I think was missing for a while. It's supposed to, well, okay, we won a championship, get rid of all those guys and bring it. Doesn't work quite like that. Let's be a little more patient and a little more deliberate, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
There was a quote. KCP had a quote, now a shooting guard for the Nuggets, and this was a couple days ago, and he was talking about how basically that the Lakers, they shouldn't have, after they won their championship, they shouldn't have been so quick to try to recycle.
For sure.
Right? And I think if there's a criticism towards that front office, and I'm sure there's a few that we could point out, they did win an NBA championship. Some of the decisions they made after that championship, you could say they kind of outsmarted themselves a little bit, right? Sometimes you think, oh, look at us, we're on top. We're going to be even smarter than we were a year ago. I think they kind of ran into that a couple different times with themselves.
I remember you and I doing shows after they won the championship, and I remember I said this, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you agreed with me. Look, as long as you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis fired up, you can kind of surround them with some guys, and they're going to be really, really good. Turns out that wasn't true. You need to get them with the right guys. They don't have to be all-stars, but they have to be the right guys. They had the right guys then.
Yeah.
They let a lot of them leave, and the next crop of next guys were not nearly the right guys.
So even if I made an argument for the Lakers front office, did they know that AD is going to play 50% of the games for the next 2 years? And even if we make the argument, if I kind of find an out for the front office, remember who they got that next offseason? Dennis Schroeder they got in a trade. Montrezl Harrell they signed from the Clippers.
Right.
They went out and got Marc Gasol. Trav, if you remember that series in the playoffs, it was against the Phoenix Suns. It was in the first round. Suns ended up going to the finals. Lakers lost in 6. AD was basically unavailable, right, for the most part of that series. I think that's the other part of this that is so difficult for, we could look at the front office and say, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did this wrong. If AD plays 50% of your games, I don't really care what you do. You're probably not going to have that much success.
True. And we're going to see him tonight, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I think go between 20 and 24 minutes. But this goes back to just something that you said yesterday when I keep saying, well, AD is going to come back. Let's see what happens. If the rest of this season is incredibly successful, it's because AD is there. If the rest of this season is unsuccessful, it's probably because AD is not 100% or he's in and out of that lineup.
I think that's right. There is a world where he's there and they're unsuccessful, but it's far less likely than the other two things you said. If he's not there, we're just
it doesn't matter that you got Rui, and it doesn't matter that Thomas Bryant and Dennis Schroeder. It just doesn't matter.
You'll be
Russ off the
competitive.
bench.
You'll give some guys, maybe you'll scare them and win a game or two in a series, but you're not a threat.
Yeah.
With him, it's you might scare somebody in a series, you might win a game or two, and you might win a series. That's the difference with him. But
you might get Pat Riley that says in Ramona's piece, his quote that he had that, hey, this is still a dangerous combo, everything else.
Or he could come back for 2 weeks and be gone again.
Yeah.
That's the other part. And, I'm knocking on wood that it doesn't happen, but it could absolutely happen. And that's the part that's really difficult to try to calibrate for. If I don't, that's any job. not knowing is the most challenging part. If even bad news, you can prepare for bad news.
Mm-hmm.
I can work around it, hopefully. But I don't know. Is he going to be here? I don't know if he's showing up today or not.
When it happens on December 16th and he's out for 5.5 weeks,
good luck.
What do? You don't really know.
Ask Amanda.
A. Brown in the house.
They're good ones. I'm just saying that they're good ones. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm here at the 909 Sports Bar here inside Yamava Casino, the greatest sports bar in Southern California and probably the world. Over 170 LED monitors, monster screens, people and energy, a massive amount of beers, and I promise you this, the food is off the charts. And then over there, 7,000 slot machines and hundreds of table games in this world-class resort. Yo, I'll see you here on Championship Sunday. Let's all get together for both games here at the 909 at Yamava.
Come out to the 909 at Yamava for our next watch party on January 29th.
Ask Slee. Yes, we usually do Ask Slee at this time. Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, but today it is a roaring edition of Ask Amanda. Our boss, the great Amanda Brown, sits in, and we just have to wonder, how many missiles she's going to fire at Slee today.
Do you indeed have a Murphy bed?
And Ask Amanda today is presented by Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. It's time for Ask Amanda right now on Travis and Sliwa.
And as I like to say, Al, when our people do a good job, I want to give them credit for doing a good job. We have some very good Ask Amanda. Boss,
good, because
welcome.
the last time I did this, the questions really sucked.
Well, these I
calling
hopefully...
them out right out the gate.
Well,
I like that.
there was very few, and they just weren't good. And I'm excited for this.
Now I feel like I'm responsible.
Now there's
for
pressure.
It. Now that I said they're good,
Why'd
I feel
you
like
pick those?
Exactly. All right, here we go. Trav. Does Amanda make sure her chair is always a little bit higher than her subordinates than when doing one-on-ones?
No. Come on, I'm not that kind of boss.
Yeah, they
and
got
you
the
guys
wrong
know
person.
that. I'm like the person that's like leaning back in my chair with like my arm lifted up, like
She made me one time sit on the floor.
The beach chair. She had like the Game of Thrones throne, and then you were in a beach chair.
She stood on her desk.
That is kind of one of those weird moves where it's like, this chair is really low. Your office isn't like that.
No.
But others are. We've all been in that one.
Oh, no,
this is weird. Why
CEOs where they're like...
Yeah, they make sure they sit above you and look down on you.
That's not you.
No, you guys are not my peasants.
All right, this is from Dude and Slow, who says, Trav said in the event of the apocalypse, he would need water, ammo, and his putter. What are the three things you would take?
In an apocalypse?
Yeah, we were talking earthquakes. You get trapped, and now it's every man/woman for themselves. What are you getting?
What am I taking? Wow, that
the water one
that is
is
a good question. Water, that's important.
Yes. Survive,
Like you're gonna need to survive. I mean, you can go without food longer, right?
Yep.
Than water.
Yep.
So
Medicine for your back or something for your back.
And if you have ammo, you can kill what you want to eat.
You know what? Yes, maybe a shank of some sort.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna hunt by hand.
Yeah, I think a shank, because then also I could use it to like cut open animals, like
and you
kill
don't have to
them,
worry
and then
about
I can like skin them and eat them.
You don't have to worry about ammo running out.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah,
you have a
with
shank.
With a shank, like you're good. You're always good. You know, you can find something to like sharpen it on, right?
Okay, so we got water, a blade, and what else?
I think I know what would be your third.
Really?
I
don't even know what the third would be.
I think
yet.
wine. Some kind of alcohol, liquor, some kind of...
I don't know. More leaning towards Emily, I think it'd probably be pain meds for all of my ailments.
Drugs.
You know? Drugs.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, some hardcore pain meds.
Hey,
you know, with all my back issues.
Does the same thing as wine. Doesn't taste as good, but it's same result.
It's quicker.
It is
Some cases.
Longer lasting, too, in most cases.
Yeah, I can cut them in half, you know, and just take half at a time.
This is from Brian, and it says, why does a round pizza come in a square box, but then is cut into triangles?
You know, I feel like we've had this discussion
have we
before
had,
on the
I don't,
air.
Have we had that here?
Maybe not
Al?
this show.
I
It
don't
may
think
have
so.
been on Mason in Ireland, but I know I've had this discussion before, and the question is, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Al, do you have any theories to this?
No theory, but
Who was it that used to cut their pizza in squares?
Little Caesars.
Yes, back in the day.
I believe they
right?
still do. Do they not do it? Because
No, I don't think
they
Little
do
Caesars
slices
does it
now,
now.
but they used
mainstream.
They used to be in like Kmart back in the day.
They used
There
to.
was-
That's
Little
right.
Caesars was in Kmart, and it was the square slice.
And
they
the
were cut
middle
into
was
squares.
never cooked. The
Yeah.
middle was never
Is
cooked.
Detroit
The edge-
pizza square?
Yes.
Is that like a...
Yes.
Pizza's
right?
square. School lunch pizzas can
Oh,
often
yeah,
be squares.
school lunch
Also,
pizza,
Amanda,
yeah.
there are a lot of places in Connecticut that do square pizza too.
Yeah, Amanda.
Yeah, I've chosen to forget my Connecticut days.
Here's another one. A different Brian says, if you were abducted by aliens, would you tell anybody? Why or why not?
Okay, so I'm getting abducted and then I'm coming back.
You're abducted, and then they place you back where
Would
they
I
took
tell
you
anybody?
from.
Heck yeah, I'd tell people.
Why?
I survived.
Would they not believe you?
But now they're going to look at
Oh,
you
I
like you're a
don't care.
crackpot.
yeah, they
Whatever.
don't think you're crazy.
I mean, the people that know me will believe me.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters most.
I'd be
I still
wanting-
think my parents would love me.
I'd want to know how many of those back pills she was on when she got abducted.
Something's going on here.
Yeah, there's a chance that I didn't get taken, but those pills
Right, you
took
had a
me
very,
somewhere.
very vivid dream
those-
about being abducted.
Back pain meds.
All right,
took me
so
somewhere.
Eddie on Twitter, if you go on a date
Yes.
and this guy is a fan of the station, at the end of the date, as soon as he says he's a fan, are you like, not interested? Basically, that's what.
Okay, so I actually had this happen. So I went on a date. This was probably like 3 years ago. And I sit down, we're talking, and he's like, I got to be honest with you. He goes, I wasn't sure if it was you or not. He's like, but I'm a huge fan of the station. And he's like, are you the Amanda that produced Mason in Ireland? And I was like, yes. And, typically I would not date a listener, right? But like, that's not how, we met, and like we met on a dating site, right? And,
was that a bad thing? Did it matter?
No, because he was awesome.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't like a weird, like crazy fan. In fact, we're still friends to this day. So, he's one of my really good friends.
He has a 710 license plate. Like
No.
when he pulls up?
Now that, like, if I, we walked out after the date and I see like a 710 sticker on his car or the license
Is
plate
that Mason
frame,
and
like,
Ireland sticker on his laptop?
I'm running fast.
Okay, so with that in mind, another dating one here for you
Okay.
from Chris. It says, you're on a first date, and the guy says, my mom is my best friend. Red flag or super cute?
Nope, love it. I think it's super cute. I think it's great. I think it's important for guys to have good relationships with their mom because that's going to tell you how they're going to treat you. If they're respectful to their mothers, they're most likely going to be respectful to you.
Is there not a middle ground, though? Because
do most girls like that or not?
I have a very healthy relationship with my mother. I love my mother. I talk to her regularly, and we have a great relationship. She's not my best friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, too. Like,
but my best friend,
good,
like the
I would
person
say-
that I call to go play golf with, is my mom? That's kind of weird, no?
I think what they
wanna
mean
go
is
grab a
more.
few beers?
I think it's more like you can talk to your mom about anything.
Yeah,
I
don't
talk to my mom about everything, but she's my mother. She's not my best friend.
Yeah, but maybe some people, are cool like that, like with their moms, and it's like, yeah, hey, let's go grab a beer and watch the game.
Don't
Mom.
talk about your mom like that.
I'd be happy to have a
seriously.
beer and watch the game with my mother, but I don't have her as my best friend. I'm just saying. I love my mom, but that seems aggressive.
Like a secret handshake and everything.
Yeah, but like, well, okay, but can I ask you a question? Like,
Sure.
what's the difference in if I tell you, because like I obviously work in sports,
Sure.
right? So I'm super close with both my parents, but what's the difference than me being like, oh yeah, hey dad, let's go have a beer and watch the game because we're like best friends.
Nothing,
So
but like
what's
if
the
you
difference?
and your dad went wine tasting every weekend and you didn't have any female friends that you went around and did
Well, this
that kind of
person
stuff?
isn't saying that they have no other friends
Best-
besides their
I think
mother.
but I think that's analyzing it too much. I think
Yeah.
you could
That's
say
the
a
whole point
best
of this
friend.
segment.
But
No.
listen,
Is
but
to
listen,
analyze it
listen,
too much.
Listen,
Just have one. It's not like mom's my only friend.
I got a friend that doesn't live anywhere near LA. You can still talk to the person. You're not hanging out with him every weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're referring to with the mom.
Yeah. Jeez, Trav.
I'm just saying it feels very red flaggy to me. I guess not. What do I know?
I'm agreeing that it's a pink flag. It depends on the context, and I think that, yeah.
All right.
If you're in an argument and you're like, well, I'm calling my mom, that probably
My
is not
mom
the
would have
best.
never treated me like this.
Yeah, or if they live at home still. And,
Well, okay, first of
yeah.
all, I would never date anybody who lived with their parents because I'm about
What's-
to be 44 years old.
Okay, but what's the drop dead age?
for me,
Not you as a 44-year-old,
Like-
but you as a 25-year-old. They live with their mom and dad, okay?
25 is fine.
You as a
I think
30-year-old.
no,
You got to be out.
in your 30s you got to be out.
Yeah, 30's got to be the. That's
Yeah.
Honestly,
30.
25 is the cusp. I think 25 is like you're still figuring
Yeah, but
your
I'm
life
also
out.
not dating anybody that's
No, yeah,
not young.
obviously.
No, I'm saying age to age.
Yeah.
Before 44, run for the hills.
Yeah.
Well,
if you're
whole nother
44 and you're living at home, unless you're taking care of an ill mother,
That's different.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's different
different.
circumstances. Yeah.
and also
Your
obviously,
ill mother who's your best friend.
your best friend.
if they live in the basement, they get till 38.
No basements ever. It doesn't matter what age
What
you are
about
unless
an
you're like
additional
12.
unit in the backyard?
If you're 12,
All right,
no.
putting you on the
No.
spot with this one. It's from 805 Raider. Who is the most easygoing talent, then producer, then board op? Most easygoing of those three.
This is easy. Talent, you.
Seriously.
Yeah, you are the easiest.
Oh, good. I win.
You listen well. You do what I say.
That goes without saying.
You're not a jerk.
Thank you.
Sliwa,
I guess I'm a jerk.
Sliwa's pretty easygoing, but there are moments where I have to be like, Sliwa,
Yeah.
we talked about this.
All right. So I'm who's the easiest going producer?
Emily by far.
Emily. Oh, Emily. We got. Are we
Ding,
going to run
ding,
the
ding.
table? Easiest going board op.
No.
Jorge.
Sorry, Jorge.
Yeah. Sorry, Taylor.
Where did Berg
you
rank?
lose.
I'm offended.
Where did Berg rank on the easiest going?
He's second.
You second?
Yeah.
All right, so then the flip is biggest pain in the ass, same 3 categories. Talent first.
But there's nobody that's really a pain in the ass.
But somebody's got to be in first. Not
Yeah,
that they're
who
a
won
pain in
last
the
year?
ass, but
I
they're
mean, like, they're annoying and ugh.
the one that you just say,
There's not one. There's a couple. I mean, the ones.
There's a lot of ties.
Yeah, the ones that like are the most like needy or can't figure things out or seem to have multiple personalities are Mason and Kaplan.
Okay.
Like, you know, producer wise, nobody's a pain in the ass.
No, I wouldn't think so
No,
either.
and board up wise, no one's a pain in the ass.
We got good people.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. The whole point is to hire people that are not pains in the ass.
All right, I have one more here. Do you want an angel one or do you want
Yeah, you got a lot of
winery
angel
one?
ones, by the way, because you sent
Because
out your
of my
tweet.
angel
I'm
tweets,
gonna-
because I'm so extremely irritated right now.
You should be.
I'm going to give you the other one. Your favorite winery. That's from Jason Torres because they
My
know you're a wine
favorite
person.
Winery. So I'd say my favorite winery would be Dow up in Paso Robles.
That's
like
a good
the
spot.
view is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's up top, it's beautiful, the wine is great. So I'd probably have to go with that.
You're
That's
going to
a
get
good
a lot
choice.
of messages of people saying, hey, just would love to take you out on a date. You
To
want to go
Dow.
up to this winery?
I don't know. Maybe if you're gonna take me to Dow, yeah, but we got to get separate rooms, okay?
Separate rooms, that's fair.
And they can't be a P1. They could be like down the list of
And you
listeners.
can't
They
know
just
what my
happen to hear
room.
it
You
today.
can't know what my room number is. We meet in the lobby.
And it's okay to have a relationship
I've got
with
a
your
quick.
mom.
I haven't
We
been
take
in this.
separate Ubers.
I haven't been in this universe in 1,000 years, so I don't know. When is the appropriate time to do a go away date?
After how many?
Yeah. After how long? How long do we have to know each other before I say to you, "Hey, let's go to Paso Robles for the weekend"?
I
Is
mean,
it-
for me, it's like we're not dating. We're in a relationship.
Okay.
Like I'm not going away with some guy I'm just dating.
3-4 dates? No.
No, I'd say like 5.
Okay.
5
Seems
dates.
about right.
Probably
Seems
5.
about
3
right.
dates is quick.
Get your game
Yeah.
on in 5 dates. Be respectful.
Yeah.
And then maybe
Book-
you go on a
book a
trip.
room in Palm Springs.
I gotta make sure I really like you.
Well, sure.
You know?
I mean, yeah, that goes without saying. Good job, boss.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
Ashley
guys.
with A. Brown.
Hey, can I say good job to the listeners? Great questions today.
Those
I
were better.
enjoyed it. Yes, they did awesome.
Dodged a bullet.
Loved it.
Who should we get next week? You only have to say it now. But
Cappy?
just kind of give it some thought. Oh, yeah, we
Cappy.
got to
Yeah,
do
Cappy's a
Cappy
good
one.
choice.
Cappy's a good one.
And
Like
I-
somebody
so we should just
do Scott.
somebody
You-
interesting.
You know who else?
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
We still haven't done Chris.
Yeah.
Talk about warped. I mean, you'd get some interesting answers out of that
No,
one.
Chris
All
would
right,
be good at this.
Cap or Sedano next. We got to do
You-
one of those
I
for,
think
for that.
you should do Cappy and then Chris.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
Gotcha.
it.
I think
like
that's
it.
good. Thanks, guys.
All right, Ashley's presented by Harris Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harris Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California, from dining to unwinding. You'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrissocal.com.
Something that I used to care about, Slee, is
Yeah.
dead to me. It's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm here at the 909 Sports Bar here inside Yamava Casino, the greatest sports bar in Southern California and probably the world. Over 170 LED monitors, monster screens, people and energy, a massive amount of beers, and I promise you this, the food is off the charts. And then over there, 7,000 slot machines and hundreds of table games in this world-class resort. Yo, I'll see you here on Championship Sunday. Let's all get together for both games here at the 909 at Yamava.
Come out to the 909 at Yamava for our next watch party on January 29th.
radio station. It is the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Amanda was trying to sell me in a bunch of wineries and everything. I need. I have a list of places I need to check out. I haven't really explored as much, but I
was going to say,
need
have
more.
you gone California wine tasting? I know that you're from in Virginia. There's a lot of wineries now.
Yeah, but I've done some stuff when I was up north in Monterey. I did like a handful of like wine tasting places, but like nothing that I.
No Napa yet.
No Napa.
No Sonoma.
No Sonoma. Didn't
Temecula?
do Santa Barbara. Didn't do Temecula.
Like the Santa Barbara to Paso Robles is.
Yeah.
That's a good 9,500 miles of geography. That it's nothing but great wineries. That is a great spot to go through. Are you a winery guy?
I've been to wineries, but I've never been up to Paso. Never been up there.
It's a good spot. It's hot as you know what in the summer, but it's great. Santa Barbara, just like Los Olivos, just on the other side of the Santa Ynez Mountains there, it feels like you're in a different country.
Yeah.
It's so teeny tiny little town, kind of like a Western-themed town that's just nothing but really good wineries.
Every time you go to a nice winery or something like that or whatever it is, I just swirl a lot. I'm a swirler.
Of course.
Just
Sniff.
swirling. Not even sure what's going on. You know, sometimes I taste it and I'm like, what is this? What is this?
It's a nice red.
Kool-Aid?
And the and the bartender's on the other side, and we're not making eye contact.
Okie afterbirth.
Eat more cheese and crackers.
What?
It's from The Office. He said, so it has an oaky afterbirth.
I must have missed that. I'm like, I don't.
What kind of cheese is
From
this?
dinner party.
Kind of
Best
crackers.
part of the dinner party is where Dwight's glass is filled to the very rim. That is just outstanding.
He brings his own cooler. That's what's going to happen when me and Taylor and Alan crash one of your parties. We're going to bring our own chair. We're going to bring our own
We're going to come in
food.
disguise. She's going to wear her bangs. I'm going to have a mustache and glasses.
Right, and we're going to see what it's all about.
Hi, Bob. Great to meet you.
So, I have an idea that I've been noodling with. I'm not ready to tell you quite yet. I'm not ready to tell you.
We're not ready for it. We're also not ready for it.
It's not a tease. It's just I need to get.
You can't do that to us.
Sure, I can. I just did.
No, tell us.
I need to finalize some things in my universe. Did I tell you I'm going to Vegas this weekend?
No.
Yeah, little Michael baseball tournament.
You leave when?
Friday morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Friday morning, little Friday baseball, Saturday double baseball, Sunday
right.
double baseball.
There's by the way, it's a good time to be. I mean, if you're going to go to Vegas, would you rather go now?
I love Vegas. I am 100% pro Vegas, but for not the reasons that people love to go to Vegas, right? I don't really gamble. That's because I'd like to spend money on things that I know that I'm going to have a good time. I'm watching my money fly into that stack of chips.
No, you got great odds with the casinos.
Not a great time.
Yeah.
Love to eat. Great restaurants in Vegas. Really, there's nothing but great restaurants in Vegas. I like to have a few. Really, there's not, other than maybe New Orleans, there's not too many places that are better to have a few. And then I like to just kind of go and people watch. It's a pretty good spot for all that stuff.
Do you walk the strip? Like, are you the?
Here's.
That was my suggestion to her when she first went.
Yeah. The first time I've told you the story. I took Michael, we're walking down the strip, and they're outside one of the casinos where the showgirls, right? And they're in the full
They flick the cards.
Not those girls. Not the showgirls, not working girls. Okay. That there are.
You could see where the confusion came.
Know the difference.
You could 100%. I'm talking like headdress, costume, the whole thing, like the classic Vegas showgirls thing. And the showgirls are out there, and they're pretty scantily clad, right? To just pasties, right?
Yeah, they're not wearing turtlenecks.
So
and
Michael's. It was his 13th birthday. I took him out there to go see the Ducks and the Knights. He's a huge hockey fan. So
he became a man.
And he's walking by, and he's doing that thing where he's trying not to look, but he's really trying to make sure that he doesn't kind of doing this. That we get a little farther past him. He goes, "Dad, is that okay?" Like, what do you mean? Is it okay? And he goes, "To have can you be naked on the
Son, it's
sidewalk?"
illegal.
I'm like, well, Mike, this is Vegas. Look around. Look at how many things are going on right where you can see that you've never seen anywhere else in the world. There are no rules here. It is a free-for-all. So, yes, walking the strip is a great way to do it.
Yeah, but I'd much rather go this time of the year than – I remember – so I wasn't even here yet. I was still working down in San Diego. And we have this, and it's not like it's uncommon. Remember when the All-Star Game was in Vegas?
Oh, sure.
Okay. So you got that event that was going on. And then they have the Summer League that's always in Vegas. And you're literally walking around in a suit from the park. This is in July. From the parking lot of the, what's UNLV play? What is that?
Thomas and Mack.
Thomas and Mack. And you got, it's like a good 10-minute walk from where you park to get into the arena wearing a suit. And it's 108. And it's so damn hot. And the ground is just steaming up.
Can I ask a stupid question? Why were you wearing a suit? The Summer League's like super casual. There's like guys in sweatshirts and board shorts.
So I went to one of them that was an all-star game. There was another event that we had that was actually like you had to wear a suit for whatever it was. No, for the Summer League, you're wearing a polo and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But there were a couple events where you're wearing a suit in 110, 12-degree weather. Lakers even had some preseason games out there, and I know it's October, but it's still
screaming hot.
Wearing a suit in those.
See any showgirls?
Are those? What are those?
Oh, he knew what they were. He just didn't know if it was okay to have them out. He just didn't know like what was going on. He knew like what it was. He just think about it. When you grow up where he's grown up, you don't walk down the street and there are showgirls standing out in front of Albertsons.
If I'm 13 years old, I'm every 13-year-old boy is saying, "What the heck is going on out
Have
here?"
you been to like a Vegas show, like a classic Vegas show, like Showgirls kind of thing, or Siegfried and Roy, or any of those kind of things?
No, only Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah,
I've gone to
that's,
those.
Yeah, no, that
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I've gone to those
in Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah.
Those are kind of fun.
Amazing.
It's a great way for a couple of hours and have a handful of
the
drinks.
shows are
before you go in.
remarkable.
They're really fun.
The shows are remarkable.
We were talking about maybe trying to go to one this weekend, and we couldn't find anything that really kind of resonated in any real way.
Go Shania Twain?
I don't. That's not really. If I was going with Slee, we'd go to Shania Twain.
We'd kill it there.
Adele.
But I need something that's kind of in our lane, and then we couldn't find anything that we really both liked. So I'm like, let's just go super campy Vegas, like full blown feather headdresses, showgirls kind of thing. I've never done
idea.
that. I would love to do that. Carrot Top, I can skip.
Go to the Purple Rhino, wherever they went.
I've already done that in previous points in my life.
Right.
The Carrot Top thing in Vegas.
Well,
is
we
crazy.
know a guy if you want to go there. John and I still have his business card.
Every place has that guy.
And they'll send a car to you.
Have you been to? Of course you have. That's where the Lakers played, the new arena, the T-Mobile.
Yes, T-Mobile.
So when they do like all the pregame, this is where your exits are. That's all Carrot Top. Have you seen that part?
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever.
Doing the safety stuff.
Yes. It's amazing.
That.
It's amazing. So they have this is what you can't do in your seat, and they have Carrot Top doing all of those things. If you need to find your exit, they have Carrot Top. It's wonderfully Vegas. It's my favorite thing.
That's also what I love about the Draft House here in downtown Los Angeles is all their like safety stuff before the show is always like the star of the movie you're about to see. So it's like they sit down and like Michelle Yeoh is like pointing things out. It's very cool.
You should go see Tiesto while you're out there. Tiesto's going to be doing his set at,
I think I'd fit right in.
at the MGM.
They would they would immediately assume that the DEA has an undercover agent in the building, right?
Just do this. Like even when you're in line, just do this.
Is this Tiesto, Taylor?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think this one's
closest I got.
This feels like a Chevy commercial. Like, right now, 2.8%
That's awesome. We go Tiesto, he's like, just give me
Silverado.
something with a beat. Just give me something with it.
I feel like I could do it. All right, I'm going to tell you what got ruined. It was already like 93.5% ruined, but we went a full 100% yesterday. I'm done. I'm never going to bring it up again, but yesterday was the last straw. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee.
Right, so I got a tweet from Matthew Pelosi after we were talking about what you want to do in Vegas, and I threw out the idea that maybe you should go see Shania Twain. And so Matthew Pelosi says that Travis said, I think Travis says that Shania Twain doesn't impress him much.
That don't impress me.
Thank you, Matthew Pelosi.
Yes.
I see what you did there.
And I'm sure you would like this video.
No,
Shania Twain's and, Leopard.
We all
and
liked Shania Twain's videos. Let's not be
amazing.
obtuse about this. She's a beautiful,
Watch what you say about
talented
Shania. I'm telling you right
Huge
now,
fan.
watch what you say about
I'm
her.
with you. I just don't want to go see her perform. There's it's fine. I'll watch a video, but I don't need to spend 2 hours
All right,
watching her
3
sing her
hours
songs.
watching Avatar or Shania.
I'd rather go on tour with Shania than watch 10 minutes of Avatar.
I think you're insane.
He's a big
Fine.
fan here.
I
haven't
saw
seen it yet.
I've seen a video game before. I don't need to see a 3-hour one.
No. You're not going for the movie itself.
Underwater blue things.
No. Stop talking about the movie itself. You're not going to see the movie. You're going.
Then why
to see
am I there?
You're seeing the 3D aspect of it. Yep. It's not about the plot of the movie. The plot is fine.
You don't get it.
The plot's not
How
fine.
do you understand
The plot
this?
is bad.
No, you're going for the 3D IMAX experience of feeling like you're basically.
And in 3 hours, you know how much stretching you could get in? You could stretch.
Have you started stretching,
I
Travis?
could just take an edible and turn on the Animal Planet and get the same experience.
But then you don't have the 3D aspect of
that
things
sounds
floating
amazing.
by you and feeling like you're in water.
Then I don't have to go
It's a
sit there.
really good idea.
So we go see it.
I know what
He's
I'm
not
doing.
gonna do it.
Look, I know how to have a good time, and me and Avatar is not on the list. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Ventura and Scott. Scott, you're on with Trav, Slee, and Berg. What's up?
How's it going, guys? Hey, Trav, I got a couple of spots for you to check out. I don't know if you've heard of the Omega Mart.
No.
In Vegas, but it's a market in the Area 51 location, which is middle of town, and they have secret passages and secret doors, and you go through, and there's just cool art, and it's just a really cool place to go hang out for a few hours.
Do you have to be high or no? Drunk or?
High helps for sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Just do it. I mean, you're going to do it anyway. You might as well do that too.
You said you had a couple. What else, Scott?
Yeah, there's also towards the downtown area a place called the Container Mall. It's a little mall set up of all the containers, like what you ship things over from China in. And there's cool spots, cool drink spots. You might dig it.
Something different.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah. The second one, I don't know if I need to see shipping containers, but
that's your neighbor's yard, right?
Yeah, I can just
can go down
knock
to the
on my
dock.
neighbor's door. Hey, mind if I walk through your containers? But the first one,
What if he owns
cool.
it? That's actually his. That's his.
the first one with art and hidden. That
Omega
sounds
Mart.
kind of
That sounded
that
cool.
sounds cool. I
like
may throw that out to the old lady and see what she has to say about
Go
it.
to Outback when you're out there.
How does she feel about you calling her the old lady?
She's okay. I call her that to her face.
Okay, so that's
she's
actually
okay.
a thing.
Yeah, no, that
Hey,
it's,
old lady,
it's
make me a
meant
sandwich.
it's meant with a great deal of not like
No,
that.
don't do that.
Not
Don't
like
do that.
No.
Hey, lady.
No, it's done
That's
affectionately.
It's a bad thing. Yeah,
It's done
good. Yeah, as long as it's
affectionately.
affectionate.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
No, not like, hey, you stupid old lady. It's not like that.
I didn't say. Hey, you threw the stupid in there. I did not throw that there.
It's not like that at all.
Ray, why would you? You're presenting. I mean, very. To say that, and Susan's the nicest person in the world.
She's wonderful.
She's pretty great. I'm a fan.
She's wonderful.
I'm a fan. All right. This is an old argument, and I'm done having it after I say my piece over the next 2 or 3 minutes here. Scott Rowland killed the Hall of Fame yesterday. Officially. It was on live support. It was really stupid because a bunch of people that are in it that should not be in it. But that was like the final straw because I don't know if there's a person on earth that's a baseball fan that had ever bought a ticket to a Phillies game, a Cardinals game, a Reds game. I think he played for the Blue Jays for a hot second, that was thrilled to walk into the ballpark because Scott Rowland was playing that night. Scott Rowland's career is not nearly as good as Steve Garvey's, and I'm not even going to bother. Here, Baseball Reference has a thing where if you lead the league in a category, it's in bold. Right. You go to Steve Garvey's page, there's a bunch of bold. He's an MVP. He's a 10-time All-Star. All these things. Scott Rowland's page has 0 bolded numbers. 0. He didn't lead the league in one thing one time ever. This is not, hey, if you last a really long time and you're a pretty good player, we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame. It's so silly to me because we know. If I said to you, Al, is Albert Pujols a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, pretty easy one.
Of course he is. Is Clayton Kershaw a Hall of Famer?
Yes,
100%.
%.
Of course he is. Is Ichiro a Hall of Famer? Of course he is. But hey, let me tell you about Scott Rowland's war against. It's like, stop. The second you have to start making this argument for me, it's so silly. These giant accumulation of stats is so dumb, and I don't know why it hit me like this yesterday. But the Scott Rowland thing was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, and he was a good player. He made the All-Star team like 6 or 7 times. He was a good player. He was a very good player for a period of time, but he was never a star. Never once was he an important part of Major League Baseball. He's in the Hall of Fame. That's crazy.
You know what's funny? None of those do it for me. None of them. Because I don't know what the criteria is. So you want to talk about NBA Hall of Famers. You want to talk about I don't really – I'll just use as an example MVP voting, All-Star games. None of them really do anything
But
for
MVP
me.
voting, I think, All-Star games, I'm with you on that. That's become a thing where it's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are in the top 2 or 3 of MVP voting, you are a great player,
Mm-hmm.
right? That doesn't happen by accident. If you're constantly in the top 3 or 4, like Mike Trout is, or you want to, then it means something. Scott Rowland was inside the top 5 one time, and he was 4th. He was never inside the top 24 after that. He was never one of the 24th best players in his own league other than one time.
So how many people do you think are like you that this strikes a nerve? And the reason why I'm setting it up like that is because I think we've kind of reached a point where nobody really cares who gets in and who doesn't.
You may be right, but for me, this was the tipping point because he was the definition of just a guy who was a good player that wasn't that interesting or impactful that I just never really cared about. It was just the end of this for me forever.
So this is the thing. So Scott Rowland, when he was first in, I think he's been around for 3 or 4 years on the MVP or on the Hall of Fame voting. I'm not sure exactly how many years, but he came in the first year. He was at 10.8%, which meant that 90% of people, almost 89% of people, didn't think he was a Hall of Famer. Somehow he found his way up to the required 75%. It's out of control. There's no reason for this guy to be in it whatsoever. You're right. I've never went to a Dodger game. It's like, oh, I get to see Scott Rowland play third base this year.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was never a thing. And it's upsetting because it's not the Hall of Fame anymore. This is now Scott Rowland has completely made it into the Hall of Good. Not very good. Yeah. The Hall of Good.
Good for a long time.
Good for an extended period of time
yeah.
that doesn't really mean anything. There's never a point where I'm going to go to Cooperstown and be like, hey, look, check it out.
Let me go read Scott
Mm-hmm.
Rowland's plaque before I go read Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays's. It's an absurd setup.
Mm-hmm.
This is a place for Mickey Mantle, Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, who I know is not in, for guys like Clayton Kershaw,
sure. The greats
and
of the greats.
Albert Pujols
yeah.
and Mike Trout and Ted Williams. Scott Rowland is in the same building with Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle? That's
Doesn't make
absurd.
Sense. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely
an absurd, ridiculous construct.
So
there should be like 50 guys in the whole thing.
Yeah, so you want criteria. Criteria is you need to be good, like one of the
But
top
there isn't.
5 best.
That's
I'm
my
telling
point.
you what the
Yeah.
criteria should be. Is that for a 10-year period, you're in the top 5. You're one of the greatest players, and every single night, in and out, you're on SportsCenter top plays,
Yep.
or you're doing something that's like, wow, I got to stop myself
Yep.
and go turn on the TV to watch this player.
This is
Scott Rowland
this is
not
part of the
that
reason
guy.
why I don't care about it is because there are people who are deserving of it that have not got in, and there are people who are not deserving of it.
Who?
Just in general, I'm talking about the
no.
NBA. I hear John.
NBA
I hear John
is
and Michael
a
talk about Michael
Well,
Cooper
there's
all
not
the
an
time.
NBA. The Basketball Hall of Fame is like if you were a great high school player, you can submit your resume.
Sure.
Like it's not even the NBA Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. That's not what it is.
So
It's
that
the
doesn't
Basketball
count.
Hall of Fame.
Okay, but and I'm just using the example of Michael Cooper. I always hear them say, "How is he not in the Hall of Fame?" And this is basketball,
They're
whatever the
Lakers.
case is. But I think I don't know what the criteria is. I don't. So it's like it's tough for me to.
I hear what you're saying, but I think it's really simple to boil down to. If you asked 100 people, should player X be in? If any fewer than like 95 or 6 of them say yes, you're not.
By the way, you're right.
It's literally that.
Does it feel like it is like that?
Of course it isn't. Scott Rowland got in yesterday.
And that's my point. My
Fernando,
point is
like
that
Fernando's not in,
and he shouldn't be. Fernando should be in the Dodger Hall of Fame.
Correct.
Fernando's incredibly important to this city. He's incredibly important to Dodger fans, especially Dodger fans of a certain age like myself.
Yep.
But Fernando Valenzuela was not one of the great pitchers in the history of baseball. He wasn't.
So this might
Clayton
work-
Kershaw is.
Yes. this
Sandy
might-
Koufax was. I mean, there are guys. Oral Hershiser was my favorite pitcher as a kid. He's not a Hall of Fame caliber player. He was awesome, but it should be for the most select people out there, and that's not what any of these things have become.
No, and this might be, I don't know if this will work out or not, but like Emily before this conversation, did you have any idea who Scott Rowland was?
No.
Okay, Taylor. Did you
Yeah,
know?
I know Scott.
Okay,
Just
so
as
you
a
knew-
Cardinal.
Just as a
this time,
Cardinal. Okay,
yeah.
because you're a Cardinal fan. But
He's
otherwise,
a Twins fan.
no, it's a Twins fan. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sure. Sorry,
I just remember
But
him.
either way, but for the most part, if you ask
Yeah,
somebody,
Scott Rowland is not
you're
a big-time
you
name.
could go
No.
walk around here and ask people, "Do you know who Scott Rowland is?" And they're
No.
going to say no. But you say, "You know who Ichiro is?" Yes, 100%.
Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Gwynn should be in the Hall of Fame. Dave Winfield should be in the Hall of Fame. Like,
Sure,
there are guys
right.
that are
And-
no-brainers, and then it's like the second you go, well, no, you know that he's got – stop. The second you have to explain to me why he is, take 100 people at random. Are you a baseball fan? I am. Is Ichiro a Hall of Famer? 100 are going to say yes. If you say Scott Rowland, maybe you'll get 50, but that means that no.
Well,
it's
at
a hard
first it was
no.
10. If there was 100 people, there was 10%.
Done. There, never have to do it again. I get it. You got to sell. Hotel rooms in Cooperstown. You got to get all these things. I get it. That
You
it's
feel a little better
production. I
that
do.
you got it out?
I'm unburdened a little bit along the way.
I
That's Scott Rowland. It's like putting Tim Wallach in the Hall of Fame. It's like, what the hell are we doing?
I just feel like they did it this year because they said we need to put somebody in this year. We didn't do it in 2021. We have to put somebody in. Let's put Scott Rowland in there. I mean, he had a decent enough career. Let's throw him in there because we should have somebody.
Put
because of
Steve
what
Garvey in. He was better than Scott Rowland. Steve Garvey shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. My favorite Dodger as a kid, but he's
More
does not have-
impactful than Rowland, right?
by a mile. There.
Feel
Much
better?
better. I do.
I still don't feel better. I'm still very angry about it. But that's another
Did
time.
you have one that just hit you around the bend?
No, well, this is one.
is the one.
Like, I mean, Jeff Bagwell was one that I was like, I mean, he was exciting for a moment, but not one of those great dudes. But this one is one that it's like, where are we? What is happening right now that the Hall of Fame has become this?
Jeff Bagwell, in his defense, his page is covered with bold numbers.
Great,
but
he wasn't like, I was like, okay,
I agree with you, but at
he had a
least
cool
his
stance.
page.
At
is
least you can make a
covered.
case,
yes,
or a stronger
he
case.
shouldn't be in either. But at least there's. I'm looking at it at a glance. There's 20 bolded numbers on his page. Rowland has 0, none.
I wonder if he has any of the bolded on the defensive metrics because probably not.
He should bold his own page.
Let's go to the
It's not Wikipedia.
Let's go to the ballpark tonight
get
and
that
see a
in there.
guy field grounders. There's a sentence no one's ever said.
No, and that's why Michael Cooper's not in because he was just a defensive guy.
And don't come at me with your Ozzie Smith's in. Okay, fine. Ozzie can be in. No one else. We're going to make a defensive win. It's going to be a broom closet. It's going to be Ozzie's plaque and a broom and a bucket with a mop. That's the defensive wing of the Hall of Fame.
I was going to ask both you guys. We're running out of time because we've got Factor Cap, but we do it at 11:45. We never gotten into Justin Turner. Some of those comments he made about joining the Red Sox and kind of without saying something, right? Not that the Dodgers did him dirty, but maybe they did him dirty. So we do that at 11:45. I don't want to get your guys' thoughts on that. All right, Factor Cap coming up next. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm here at the 909 Sports Bar here inside Yamava Casino, the greatest sports bar in Southern California and probably the world. Over 170 LED monitors, monster screens, people and energy, a massive amount of beers, and I promise you this, the food is off the charts. And then over there, 7,000 slot machines and hundreds of table games in this world-class resort. Yo, I'll see you here on Championship Sunday. Let's all get together for both games here at the 909 at Yamava.
Come out to the 909 at Yamava for our next watch party on January 29th.
That's so Cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, I'd like to take home the Mandy for least annoying producer, Travis for least annoying.
We'll make our own.
talent.
We're going to go to
Yeah.
a trophy shop and get them printed all on our own,
Yes.
and we'll share it. You can have it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'll take it.
Just grab the mic and say congratulations to Emily, and then just go, and then you could do the same for him.
Right, exactly. We're gonna go on the stage and everything. So we'll just have at least that. So this has been kind of a debate on the internet, and it's about whether or not you should open a window on a plane. So obviously, I think for the takeoff and the landing, open window is fine. But when it comes into play is when you're up in the air and there's nothing to see. So you shouldn't have a window open outside of takeoff and landing on a plane. Travis, Fedor Cap?
Cap. I think if you're sitting in the window seat, it's up to you whether you want it open or closed.
What if the light's coming in and it's right in someone else's eye?
Should have bought the window seat. I mean, honestly, if it's that important to you, buy the window seat, because whoever gets that seat gets to control. I'm a closed shade guy most of the time because, like you said, Em, there's not really much to look at after you're up in the air and going wherever it is you're going. But if you want to stare out the window at a bunch of fields, wherever it is you're going to, knock yourself out. Why not?
Al?
I go cap on this one. By the way, I never get the feel. I'm always the wing. The wing just takes everything. That's all I see is just the wing.
So true.
everywhere I sit, that's how it is. I'm cap on this one. I'm pretty good at this. Like, I kind of am gauging what's going on here. If I got somebody sitting right next to me and it looks like they're trying to go to sleep, then you know what? I'll close the window. It's not a big deal. But if they're reading a book or if they're watching a movie or something like that and the window really doesn't affect them, then it's okay to have the window open. But I'm pretty... I pay attention to stuff like that, especially when I'm around others, especially when I'm around strangers. I hate when people are just in their own world and are completely not paying attention.
If
to who
I'm
they're
not
sitting
looking out
next
the
to.
window and somebody kind of says, "Hey, would you mind closing?" Yeah, sure. But if I'm staring at the pivot irrigation in the middle of nowhere and I'm enjoying it, and somebody says, "Hey, would you mind?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of looking out the window. I'll close it in a minute." I'm gonna keep. If I'm just staring at my book,
Awesome. This guy's got a confrontation. He's like, "No, I'm not freaking doing
I'm
it."
looking out the window. You should have bought this seat.
You know what they're gonna do when you need to use the restroom? Go around.
Odds are I'm bigger than them. I'm going to get through. They're gonna want me out of there as opposed to sitting right next to them.
Side note: Do either of you guys follow the flight map when you're on a plane? Do you have that on your screen or whatever?
Right at takeoff, yes, just to kind of get the ETA on arrival. But it's like you look at it, the plane hasn't moved. It's still just sitting over Orange County. There's nowhere to go.
So it's kind of funny you say that because I'll check it every once in a while. I can't have it on. It's
in between movies or whatever.
It's like it's like being at the gym. If you're on a machine, and I don't want to see how many minutes I got left. I don't want to see how many calories I burned because I feel like I'm not going anywhere.
Yes, I agree.
Taylor?
I'm kind of with Trav on this. I'm capped too. I'm an aisle seat guy, but I'm at the mercy of the person at the window seat. If I didn't choose that seat, I can't really decide if you can open or close the window.
And are you a flight map watcher?
No, I'm not. I'm kind of of the mind, if you watch pot, it's not going to boil. So
Makes sense. All right. So Steven Spielberg was saying, so one thing about the Oscars is that, like, typically a blockbuster doesn't win. It typically is whatever we've all seen isn't the one that wins. Like Top Gun Maverick this year, likely not going to win the
Jennifer
Oscar.
Connelly, Best Actress, for instance.
Right, exactly. So Steven Spielberg says that Dark Knight should have been the first blockbuster Best Picture. And you agree with Steven Spielberg. Alan, Fedor Cap.
I'm fact on this one, and I'm not a huge movie buff. Dark Knight was one of my favorite movies.
Great movie.
It was fantastic. It was amazing, and I don't think it should be dictated that way of, well, if it's a big blockbuster, then all of a sudden it kind of goes down a notch.
It's out automatically.
Come on, if it's a good movie, it's a good movie. And I'm not saying that it should be determined on what the sales are. It should be determined. I'm not talking about that, but if everybody agrees, we'll go back to Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame. Right. If people don't agree that he should be in there, then he shouldn't be in there. But if people think, hey, that was the best movie, damn it, let it win an Oscar.
Trev?
I'm with Al. I don't know if it should have been the first one to win it because, for instance, I'll go back. Star Wars, right? It made $80 gazillion. E.T., 80, whatever it is.
They're good movies.
Right. They're good movies.
Lethal Weapon 2.
Everybody enjoys. Lethal Weapon 2, why not? But it doesn't have to be some depressing art house where
the
it's
Berlin
this,
composer.
Oh, you guys don't understand the cinematography and the storytelling.
You're right.
Like, I don't care.
We don't understand.
If you care, that's fine. I'm okay with you caring about it, but if this is just some little boutique-y thing that you guys are going to nerd out about, that's cool. But then don't have it be pretend that this is the best picture. It's the best picture for people that nerd out on movies.
Right.
That's different than the movie that everybody loved.
Yeah, totally. Taylor?
Fact, yeah, I love The Dark Knight. It's a great movie. Why is film like this and music isn't? It seems like in music the most commercially successful, the
Ones that win.
poppiest stuff is the stuff that wins, but film is different.
I don't know, different people in charge of making the decisions, and I think the Oscars take themselves a little too seriously sometimes, and then I don't know if that's the same way with music awards, but that's kind of how
when the Oscars are next month. Is that what it is?
I want to say it's in March.
Was it? It was last year where Will Smith slapped Chris
Yes, it was
Rock.
last
Right? Yeah. There's jokes about that this year, right? We can't
Yes,
pretend it
of course.
didn't happen.
If
There
Will
has
Smith
to
is
be-
not there.
Well, he's banned, isn't he?
He's not nominated this year, and I don't think he's allowed to come.
Yeah, I think he's
He's
been
suspended.
Yes, he's
a
serving
three Oscar suspension.
Exactly. I think he's suspended, but you have to make the joke, right?
I mean, Eddie Murphy already made the joke at the Golden Globes, but I'm sure it's going to be there for the Oscars.
It would be awful if that joke isn't made. Like, it has to be. It's been a year.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right, so I'm going to take something from Taylor when he does Hey Did You See, but a poll said that if people are given extra time, respondents said that this is what they would do with their extra time. So 28% would tackle more projects or bigger ones, 34% would knock out some more chores, 20% said they'd need more time for extra sleep, and some say that they would adopt a pet or they would go back to school. So if you had extra time and you wanted to take on a new hobby, you would be interested in learning how to fly a plane. Taylor, Factor Cap.
How to fly a plane? Seems like an expensive hobby. You know what I mean? And when would it come in
Right.
handy? It might come in handy if the pilot passes out or something. But I can't. I'm not going to go buy my own plane. So, nah, Cap.
All right, Jeff.
No, I'm going to leave that to the professionals. That's Cap. I'm going to let the guy that flew in the Navy.
Michael Thompson.
For
Michael
20
Thompson's
years,
on that one.
Right? Flew in the Navy for 20 years and then flew for some regional airlines. And now he's been flying for Delta for 20 more. I want to get on that guy's plane, not mine. Okay, can I just kind of turn this a little bit? Did you learn how to do anything or take on a major project during COVID? Did you do anything that was atypical for you? Like, hey, I've got all this time, I'm going to do blank. Did you do anything like that?
No. to be
Neither
honest
did
with you,
I.
I did.
Did
So
you?
I biked a lot, and I did some crocheting.
Okay, well, then good for you. Taylor, did you take on something
I
else?
started hiking actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
good for them. Because I was more like you, Slee. Like, all of a sudden, you have nothing but time. Stared at my phone more, watched more TV. I read a little bit more, but I've had time, and
act on this only for the mere fact that it's something different. It is kind of interesting if you have no idea what's going on. Obviously, there's somebody that really, I never want to be the actual person that's in control of anything like that. But if I could be on the sidelines and I could kind of see how it does operate, that's kind of fascinating,
Totally.
right? Just to learn something different like that. So I'll go fact on
Did I
that one.
tell you guys that? I might have told the story here. I know I've told my friends this story, but my best friend back in Virginia, her dad is a pilot. He flew for American Airlines for a bunch of times. He's now since retired. But when he came to visit for like a parents' weekend, he flew his own plane. He built his own plane with his own two hands. And I know, right? Exactly. Crazy.
hard pass.
And I got to go up in a plane with him.
Wow.
And he was like, "Oh, do you want to do like any flips or anything?" I'm like, "Nope."
Oh my!
Does
But
he do
just-
his own heart surgery on the weekends with tools that he built in his garage?
No, he does not. But he still does fly his plane. And
I
it was
took
cool.
on this cardiac surgery as a hobby during COVID. Lay down, Slee. Let me give you a quick bypass.
At least that would be a
I'm going to build a
doctor doing
duplex this weekend. Okay.
Crazy.
Sounds good.
All right, so I was telling Travis this story this morning. I think we were talking about the guy breaking the backboard, and I was
right.
like, embarrassing story.
Jerome Lane.
Yes, Jerome Lane. And I was saying, I had an embarrassing sports story that happened to me one time. So I was a goalie in high school, and sometimes when we would do practice in high school, goalies would go to one field, and then everyone else would go to another field. And so I was by myself for a little bit before the other goalie showed up. So I was punting into the net to get, just some work in, because I can't really do much else by myself as a goalie. And so I was punting into the net, and I punted into the crossbar, came back, hit myself in the face, got a bloody nose, had to walk to the team, be like, "Hey guys, sorry, got my face beat in by myself." So you have an embarrassing sports story, Travis, Dr. Cap.
I mean, not quite where I caved in my own face. Embarrassing. I've had thrown temper tantrums before, which are in retrospect terribly embarrassing. I've played terribly. I've been embarrassed by my performance, but other than just not being able to control my emotions here and there as a younger man, I don't have I tripped and fell at center court kind of moment. I had days where I gave up multiple home runs and was out of the game before the second inning was over. But I don't know if that's quite the same thing.
Okay, this fact for me, this wasn't that long ago. So post-COVID, I used to play basketball all the time pre-COVID. Post-COVID, I didn't really play basketball. It just didn't happen. I don't know. I just didn't start getting back into the gym or anything like that. So I played probably about 6-8 months ago. I played a pickup game. I hadn't played a pickup game in a while. And one of the guys, this is at the athletic club, one of the guys that I was guarding, I knew. We used to play together back in the day when pre-COVID. Literally nothing happened. I don't know what he's doing with the ball. He probably makes one move. And I lose balance on my feet and I fall. And we both just start laughing, looking at each other.
You both fell?
No,
Just
I'm the
you.
only one that fell.
You broke your ankle.
He didn't even do a move to where it's like one of those, wow, he really set up Al, and then he got him with a crossover. And we both just kind of stopped playing and started laughing because I hadn't played in I don't know how long it was, and it looked like it was the first time I ever played basketball. So that's one of probably many embarrassing basketball
I like that
moments.
you got your ankles broken when he wasn't trying to break your ankles.
There wasn't an ankle-breaking moment. He might even have the ball, for all I remember.
You're just running back on D and crossed yourself up.
No, even worse. It was half court. Didn't have to go anywhere.
Okay, fact. So I think I was, 10, 11 years old, and they introduced soccer as a sport at my school, and they had all these new boys going out for soccer. And they sent us to the next town over, big town, and we had to play an all-girls team, and we lost 11-0. This all-boys team lost to these girls, and I was I was the goalie, and I gave up a bunch of goals.
You gave up 11 goals.
We have 2 goalies
They're like,
on
you're
our
the tallest guy. You just go in there, you block some shots or whatever.
He was suspended.
Never played soccer
They suspended you after that.
Yeah, well, good decision. I think that you hanging up your soccer boots, they call them boots, right?
Yes,
Cleats.
the cleats are boots. The gloves are what you would wear as a goalie. You can hang up your gloves too.
And you can hang up your. I'm just going to stick with boots. That
Yeah, stick
sounds
with it.
very soccery. Gloves sounds like could be baseball or golf or something else. We'll go with boots on the soccer pitch with a 0-0 score. I know everything.
Right.
Justin Turner is a Red Sox, and it doesn't sound like he wanted to be. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm here at the 909 Sports Bar here inside Yamava Casino, the greatest sports bar in Southern California and probably the world. Over 170 LED monitors, monster screens, people and energy, a massive amount of beers, and I promise you this, the food is off the charts. And then over there, 7,000 slot machines and hundreds of table games in this world-class resort. Yo, I'll see you here on Championship Sunday. Let's all get together for both games here at the 909 at Yamava.
Come out to the 909 at Yamava for our next watch party on January 29th.
Sliwa
on 710 ESPN.
It's not an Ask Slee, but I think it's a good question for you, Al.
Okay.
This is from Eddie, and Eddie writes, is it me or is it just something about when someone says, I'm pretty good at that I don't believe them? If you hear somebody say, I'm pretty good at that.
No, I believe them. Let me use as an example. How many times have you said for beer chugging?
I'm pretty good at
guys, I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But how many times
I
has
believe
Greg
you.
said it?
I only said it when I was in college, and then I tried against Travis, and he absolutely.
Well, here's the
destroyed
thing.
me.
He could be pretty good at it. You just went up against the wrong opponent.
Right. I'm not Travis level, and not even close. Like, I was actually doing okay, and then that was just a mess. And literally a mess all over the floor.
Depends on who it is, because some people say they're good at everything, and that is, I'm pretty good. No, you're not. And then there's people that don't say anything very often, and it comes up, it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm all right at that. It's like, stay away from that guy that doesn't say anything
That's true.
until it's time to go. Hey, do you play golf? Yeah, I'm all right. Don't play with that guy.
Yeah,
he's gonna take your money.
I like to say I'm good at everything, even though I'm not.
Yeah, that's your jam.
That's fine. Confidence, Travis.
Look, I'm team confidence. Fake it till you make it, no doubt. Justin Turner had his first public appearance since he signed with the Red Sox. It was something here in town, kind of a community event, which he's been amazing at during his time here in LA, 9 seasons.
He said it's kind of the final bow in LA.
Yeah.
This final event that he had.
And he was talking about why he's with the Red Sox and he's not with the Dodgers anymore. 2 years, $22 million for the Red Sox. So $11 million a season.
Great.
The Dodgers,
his option too on that second year.
The Dodgers declined a 1-year, $16 million option. So we're talking about a difference of $5 million. Okay?
Yeah.
Justin Turner is one of the great Dodgers of this era. Okay? He is a guy that for the last 10 years or so, when the Dodgers have been the best team in baseball during the regular season, put that qualifier in there, it's him and Kershaw. Those are the two guys. And he's wildly popular in the community. He's wildly popular with the fans. He's wildly popular with his teammates. You hear all these other guys are like, no, JT runs that clubhouse. He's gone for $5 million. They signed JD Martinez for 1 year, $10 million.
Yeah. So let me. I'm going to kind of take a little further because I want to read a couple quotes in what Travis talking about.
Okay.
Muncie did an interview maybe within the last week, did it on Dodgers Nation, and they were talking about Justin Turner leaving. And if you heard the way he explained the importance of Justin Turner, and not that this is a big surprise or anything like that, but I like it when it comes from one of your peers. It's one thing for you and I to say it, but when he's saying it, he talked about how Justin Turner was, hey, that was our leader. When we went out on the road, it was Justin Turner that would set up this text chain that, guys, hey, this is where we're meeting. We're all going to have dinner. He just had this. He was the guy that, aside from everything he did on the field, aside all many years that he spent with the Dodgers, the 9 years and everything else, aside from all that, he was much more than just the dude that can hit you a 3-run homer at any time, right? So this was one of his quotes coming from this interview that Trav was talking about. I don't think it does anyone any good to go back and speculate as to what happened. I don't want anything to blow back or taint the last 9 years that I had in everything that we accomplished. Later added, I'd rather celebrate the 9 years than talk about maybe what could have been or should have been or didn't happen. So sometimes you can say things by dancing, and he's not trying to throw the Dodgers organization under the bus. He's not trying to do that. But whether that's the intention or not, that's a shot at your organization. It's a shot at the front office of, hey, my preference was to be here. They didn't want me here. They signed JD Martinez to $10 million, right? The 1 year, $10 million deal.
Yep.
I think it just has more to do with Justin Turner wanted to be a Dodger. I don't think it was reciprocated from the Dodgers.
That's why he said what he said, right? This was a, hey, listen, I didn't want to go anywhere. They kind of forced the issue. And I get it. He's in his late 30s. I get it that his production is starting to wane from where he was, but he's still pretty good. And there's really no discernible difference between him and JD Martinez. I find it hard to believe that he's leaving for $11 million a year, 2 years, $22 million, when the Dodgers gave JD Martinez $10 million a year, that there wasn't a deal to be worked out. And I've said this 100 times. I give the Dodger front office the benefit of the doubt on almost everything because they've proven to be experts at navigating their roster and constructing teams. Experts. This feels like a mistake because I don't think that there's a huge financial gap between what he probably wanted and what the Dodgers were comfortable going to. And I do believe that you don't make this exception very often, but there are exceptions of guys you say, he's important to the culture of what we're doing. As long as it's not a crazy number, let's find a way to get this done. And it sounds like he wanted to get something done.
So, I don't know. I didn't hear it as much as that as what you're saying. I think when you look at it, let's say you're in Game 7 of the NLCS and you need a big hit. A couple of years ago, it would have been Justin Turner. If you bring somebody off the bench, I would rather have J.D. Martinez come off the bench. So I think it's those types of things that made this deal happen. It's not so much of what he's done in the past. It's not that legacy deal that you do with Kershaw and you do with other things because he's a pitcher. I think it's two totally different things.
But he wasn't asking for legacy-type money. You're not hooking him up with a Kobe Bryant golden parachute where you say, here's whatever it was for Kobe, 35, 40 million, whatever it was at the end. Just if the number that we're uncomfortable with is 16.
JD Martinez gives you a better chance to win down the line. I don't, as much as Justin Turner was not that guy in the playoffs this last year. And if he doesn't get a hit and he does fall off more so, the front office has to go and explain to you, like, why did you keep Justin Turner around when he's clearly fallen off? Or you bring in a guy that's 1 year, $10 million to let JD Martinez, who can hit a big home run at any moment.
Turner.
I don't think he's that guy anymore.
Oh, I do. And the part that doesn't make sense to me, I'm with you. Like, Greg, if you wanted to say, listen, we're going to give third base to, Vargas. Okay,
yep. I think that's what it is.
That's fine. Then give that to him, or we're going to put DH. We're going to have Max Muncy be our DH. Whoever it is, younger, cheaper, and we got a lot longer runway. You went from one aged player to another aged player that's virtually the same for virtually the same price and sacrificed culture.
I think you're not. I mean, you're probably not putting Turner in that DH spot every single night. You're going to take play away from Miguel Vargas with Justin Turner. JD Martinez is not taking any playing time away from any big time player. He is a DH. He is nothing but a DH. I don't know if that's something that Justin Turner said. I don't know. Justin Turner could have said, I want to play in the field.
JD Martinez and Justin Turner's numbers last year are virtually identical.
And I think Justin Turner is going to be a DH in Boston. So I don't know what he's going to do. I think he will be a DH in Boston.
But a strict DH, nothing
he's
else.
A couple of years younger, but they're both in their mid to upper 30s. It's not like one guy's 25 and the other guy's 38.
I think this is the argument. I think the argument is this. Maybe you're right. Maybe J.D. Martinez is a better player today than Justin Turner. But it's fair to say that it's not going to be by much.
It's not going to be by much.
It's going to be, and I think the argument Travis trying to make, okay, well, if it's not going to be by much,
why sacrifice culture?
Why one of the foundational players for the Dodgers you're moving on from to kind of you're saving maybe a couple of bucks? That it's.
But you really didn't.
But that's what I go back to.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's a monetary thing, and I don't think it's something. I
don't think it's a monetary thing either. This is why it doesn't make sense to me. If there was an obvious economic advantage or an obvious player advantage,
yep.
I'm okay with moving on from an aged player who you feel can't really help me. But if you're just going to replace Justin Turner with J.D. Martinez, and Justin Turner wasn't asking for the world and didn't get the world, that's the part.
Wanted to be back, was trying to work out some type of a solution.
I just don't think they're equating in that sense. I don't think it's strictly J.D. Martinez for Justin Turner. I think there's more that goes along with it. It's more the playing time for Vargas. It's more of like if I need a home run off the bench.
DH Berg, right?
No, I know, but like if you want a home run off the bench, you're gonna go to J.D. Martinez more so than you're gonna go to Justin Turner in that sense. You're looking for that 3-run home run to put you back into the game in the bottom of the 9th inning. You're going to go to J.D. Martinez.
One guy had 13, one guy had 16 last year.
Yeah,
it's the same.
But it's a trust thing. If like
Would you trust Justin Turner more?
No, to hit a home run, I trust J.D. Martinez to hit a home run.
One guy slugged 444, one guy slugged 438. They're the same guy.
Yeah, I think overall you trust J.D. Martinez more so to hit the home run, the big home run, than Justin Turner. Because Justin Turner isn't a power guy anymore. He's going to hit a couple home runs here and there.
They hit the same amount of home runs.
I understand, but I'm saying like those are in the flow of the game, and he's also playing third. He's
could it be this?
At bats coming straight off the bench. I trust J.D. Martinez more.
But they're both going to play the same position, Greg. They were both going to be the DH.
Yeah,
could it be this?
I feel like.
Obviously, the Dodgers had an offseason that wasn't a normal Dodger offseason. They didn't go out and sign a number of different players. They lost Trey Turner. Bellinger is gone. Justin Turner gone. Could it just also be, guys, we want to try something different.
I think there's a lot of that.
Could it be just part of turning the page of a chapter? I know you haven't fully turned it. You still got, obviously, players that have been around for a long time. Kershaw, Dave Roberts, been the same manager for a number of years. Could it just have been, yes, we can bring back Justin Turner, but part of us just wants to try something different?
I mean, it could be. And
could be part of that.
Don't get me wrong, I love Justin
Why
Turner.
swap out a guy for guy when, look, if it were, we're just going to swap out Max Muncy for the same version of Max, okay. If you're going to do it with Gavin Lux, you can do it with Cody Bellinger, fine.
Don't have that answer.
Not with Justin Turner.
And I have the quotes.
If you're gonna swap it
bad.
out, if you're gonna swap it out, then don't do it with a guy that's the heart and soul of your team.
Yeah.
And that's not usually my lane where, he's so good. But this is the same player who's a little bit younger, but the production is virtually identical. And who knows how he fits in.
Keep an eye on the clock, bro. This is getting ridiculous.
I stopped talking. You guys are still talking.
This is ridiculous.
I got a lot to say.
Emily said in my ear, it's time to wrap, and I stopped talking.
We got some time. We got some calls on this. Plus, 10 in a row, Al. I really need you to walk me through how that happens. I know that the Clippers are a little better than the Lakers right now. 10 in a row doesn't make a lot of sense. It's coming up next. Travis Lee, 710.
Pharma Brands radio station.
And here we go. It is your Wednesday right now. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa, Travis and Sliwa is on. We begin the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. each weekday.
Here we go.
Live from LA Live. Sweet Tea, Travis Rogers. Hit him in the face, Sliwa.
I'll still take the face.
Travis and Sliwa right now.
All right, Travis and Sliwa show, hour number 3. I know we got a lot of calls lined up here. We'll take in just a second here. So we're talking about Justin Turner and JT's comments he had about the organization. He said, I don't think it does anyone any good to go back and speculate as to what happened. I don't want anything to blow back or taint the last 9 years that I had and everything we accomplished. So it's kind of interesting, the conversation about did the Dodgers make a mistake by basically picking J.D. Martinez instead of Justin Turner. And Travis, it's kind of funny listening to you and Berg make that argument. It's not like you're arguing. I think part of it is, hey, respect this dude who's been here for a long time. He deserves, if he wants to be here, and you're replacing him with a very similar player that's not that big of a difference in stats and age and everything else, well, why don't you just keep this guy? And I think Berg, it sounds like he's making just more of a case. No, Justin's not the guy anymore. JD will be a better fit for the Dodgers than Justin Turner. We don't have that answer. We'll see what happens.
If I thought that he were a better player, it would make sense. They're coming off of virtually identical years. That this is not one guy's trending up, one guy's trending down. It's not those things. The one part of this that is the argument in favor of what the Dodgers – if Justin Turner were adamant in his position, I have to have 2 years guaranteed, and the Dodgers are like, look, we just can't get there. A little bit different, but
doesn't sound like that.
It doesn't. Those comments lead you to believe that there was a deal to be made in there somewhere, that this was a deal that, listen, maybe we'll do a 2-year deal, but we're going to have another team option at the end of the first year. We can find a way to make it look so we're all getting what we want and we can all keep it moving. I just don't think with that guy, I'm gonna err on the side of let's give him one more. I'm not going to say that very often. You've heard me say, look, better a year early than a year late, and maybe that's where they're operating here. I think a very select few of guys earn the benefit of one more, and I just thought that he was one of those guys. Let's go to Pasadena and Boris. Boris, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, guys. Travis, I'm always amazed at how much like these stats that you know of, so I'm very impressed by you always. But I do agree with Sliwa because, I think this is more about just changing the chemistry of the team because, the past few postseasons, the Dodgers have been really, really not that great, right? So I think they just wanted to really change things up with a similar player and just see kind of, how the regular season and then how the postseason is going to go. So
okay. I'm with you, Boris, that if the idea is let's mix up the chemistry here a little bit, let's shake it up, let's go. I'm not opposed to that as an idea on fundamentally, right? Him? That has there been one piece of reporting, one whisper by a player, one little hint of, who's just kind of bringing this? Like, I'll use an example.
We got one.
Jeff Kent was a great player, right? Jeff Kent, speaking of Scott Rowland, Jeff Kent's 10 times better than Scott Rowland, not in the Hall of Fame. Jeff Kent was a toxic personality. People hated him. Right? Yasiel Puig was a toxic presence in the clubhouse. Trevor Bauer is a toxic presence in your club. I understand wanting to change the culture and getting those guys out and bringing new guys in. Justin Turner's none of those things. Justin Turner was the most popular player in the clubhouse. I'm okay with the idea of, hey, let's shake it up. This doesn't work. Let's shake it up and go in a new direction. I just don't think that's the piece that you take out.
Yeah, the shakeup for me, I thought where you were going to go with this was Belly, right? Like, let Cody Bellinger, that's a good example of somebody that, a great defender, right? Had an MVP season, young enough to where you think he's going to stay on the roster. A couple years ago, you would never think that the Dodgers would not have interest in keeping him around. But that was a perfect player where you're like, hey, this makes sense for this player to move on. Go try something different. And for the Dodgers, let's us move on as well. JT doesn't really fit, he's not in that mold. That's a completely different profile.
Let's try another one. Costa Mesa and Chris. Chris, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, I really appreciate you guys talking about this. And what I wanted to say was the change of venue thing is maybe important. 2 years ago, Justin Turner had a contract coming up, and he came into spring training in great shape. And he had a great first half of the year and a good year. But last year, I don't think he was in the same kind of shape. And by the end of the year, he couldn't keep up with the fastballs. And, we're all saying, hey, the Dodgers have to do some different things to win a World Series. And this might be, one little step in that direction. And I hope Justin Turner comes back and joins the coaching staff after, 2 years in Boston. And I hope he's a Dodger, for life, because I do love the guy.
Chris, appreciate you calling in. You know what's interesting, Trav? I think you probably get a lot of this. I think you get a lot of Dodger fans that are okay with a little shakeup. And I know what you're saying. I get it there. Why this guy? But I think there's probably so much, I don't know if built-in frustration is the right way to put it, but you won 111 games. How many times you got to win the division? And you go to Dodger Stadium and you feel like as great as it always tastes, it doesn't taste all that good at the end more times than not. And I find myself, we talked about this, I think it was last week, we were doing a power rankings, and MLB or whoever came out with the power rankings, the Dodgers were number 6.
Yeah.
And I think you and
ESPN.
I think you and I both said, hey, this is an interesting season coming up. I'm not telling you that they're better off, because they're not. You want Trey Turner on your team. There's certain plays. But you want Walker Buehler healthy, of course. Sure. But that for the first time in a while, the Dodgers are not the absolute favorite. Hey, Dodgers, can they win the NL West? Of course. So can the Padres. That can happen. Can the Dodgers make it to the World Series? Yes. So can the Braves, the Mets, the Padres, the Phillies. There's other teams that are going to be in play this year as well. That maybe just because it's gone one way, it feels like, for so long, that there's a lot of Dodger fans that are like, hey, I don't really, not that they don't care, but they're okay to just try something different. Try something different.
I love the theory. I really do. Like, I'm okay with trying something different.
Why him?
Why him? Why that just seems such an odd guy to choose. Like the Bellinger thing, I get it. Shake it up. You know, he's an MVP, but it's time to move on. We need new energy. I get it. You want it to, we're not going to do something crazy with Trey Turner. It's going to change it. I get it.
Bring some youngsters
Justin
up.
Turner?
Yep.
For another aged right-handed hitter?
Yeah, and that's probably maybe if J.D. Martinez never came in and it was just, hey, we did not replace Justin Turner, then you'd probably sit here and
Vargas
say,
is
okay, I
going
get
to take
it.
all of his at-bats.
I get it.
Fine. Okay. Sorry to see you go, but I get it. We're going younger. I get it. Hey, we're going to get rid of a 38-year-old for a 36-year-old with the exact same stats. Only this guy's never been here, and this guy was the most popular player in town for 10 years. That's the part that I don't get.
Can't argue that.
Yeah. It's the guy that came in as much as it is the guy that went out. Let's try another one. Valley this time. Speaking of Northridge, better to talk Dodger baseball than earthquakes. Yes. David in Northridge. David, you're on with Travis Lee.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Quick comment. I think that it's a thing about you kind of got to sell when he's high. Justin Turner had a really bad playoffs last year, and he was kind of starting to tail down. And the one thing you guys haven't mentioned is a year from now, the Dodgers are planning on having Shohei be the DH. Justin wasn't going to take a price cut, let's say go down 2 years, $20 million. What happens to him after this season when Shohei has to be the DH 4 days out of 5? What do you do with Justin then? He can't play first. He can't play third. So I think they almost did the nice thing by letting him go rather than maybe putting him out for assignment or having to cut him a year from now. Justin wasn't going to go 1 year, $10 million. He was going to go 2 years, 20. I'll give you 2 years, 20. What do you do year 2 with him?
So, okay.
I think they were doing a player option or a team option.
You could do that. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, I want them to get Ohtani. I think that they're clearing the decks to make a move to get Ohtani. I think they're going to be able to put together a package that's very attractive to get Shohei Ohtani. There is no guarantee you're going to get him, right? There is just as probably a better chance that he goes somewhere else than you get him, right? There's going to be other very, very rich people in the mix trying to get him. So I hear what you're saying, David, but he's not here. And if all of a sudden you've got him here, then you fix that problem when the problem presents itself. But for at least a year, you don't have the problem. If you do get that done, then you have a conversation with them, say, hey, listen, man, this isn't J.D. Martinez. This is a monstrous left-handed power bat that is going to play ahead of you. He's a lot better than you are right now. He'd understand that. He probably wouldn't like it, but he would certainly understand it. The other part I didn't like about that is him talking about, well, he was bad in the playoffs. Find me a Dodger who wasn't. Go ahead.
Sure.
Find me one who wasn't. You're right, he was.
Mookie was bad in the playoffs,
Everybody
too.
was. Other than Trey Turner, who was pretty hot in the first couple, and even he cooled off towards the end. Dodgers didn't swing the bats. It wasn't just that, hey, Justin Turner kept coming up at exactly the right time and they couldn't get a hit. Nobody got a hit.
Right, with that theory, nobody saw the Dodgers except Freeman.
Bring up Oklahoma City. Bring up the AAA squad along the way. One more. Let's try go back to OC and Brea and Doug. Doug, you're on with Travis Lee.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I was really bummed that we lost Turner. He's a leader. I want him to retire as a Dodger big time. And by the way, he was 10th in batting last year. He hit 278. But let's face it, the playoffs have nothing to do with the regular season, right? Great teams win the regular season. Well, it's way harder to win 111 games than it is the World Series. They win 111 games 5 times in the history of baseball. They'll never win 111 games again. So the whole the playoff thing has nothing to do with the regular season. And there's so many examples of that. I mean, look at Philly. When the last time they won, they had 92 wins. The next year they won 93. They didn't win. Then they won 97. They lost. Then they won 100, and they got knocked out in the first round. Look at St. Louis, same thing. They won 105 in 2004, 100 in 2005, the best team in baseball. They win the whole thing in 2006 with 83 wins. So it's just regular season and just postseason, nothing to do. As far as J.D. Martinez, I think they're hoping they can, get this guy to go back and hit 35 or 40 bombs. It's not been that many years since he was an absolute monster. And that's what I'm thinking they're rolling the dice in.
Look, if they think they're gonna Tyler Anderson, J.D. Martinez, okay, that's a slightly different sort of approach to this. The first part that Doug's, we're all on the same page. Your total wins of the season has nothing to do. You're 0-0 when you start. Dodgers have proven that time after time after time. But I also don't think having a team that wins 111 games is like, oh, you don't want to win too many. No, I'll take 111. That's fine. I'll take the best team every year and take my chances. That I still don't understand why Justin Turner's a Red Sox when he didn't want to be. If he was asking for the world, and then that's different.
No,
it doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't sound like there was ever going to be a conversation where JT is telling them, "Well, I'm not willing to work with you guys." That's not the vibe you get at all.
I just don't want to dwell on the end. Mm-hmm. What's the phrase, Lee? If things didn't end badly, they wouldn't end at all.
Yes,
that's kind of how it feels like it's going right there. And look, I hope he has a great year. I hope J.D. Martinez comes in and hits 40 home runs. I really do. I would love for him to be a productive player, but I'm really going to miss Justin Turner. He was a Dodger, even though he wasn't only a Dodger. He was about as Dodger as we've seen, other than Clayton Kershaw over the last 10 years. Just he'll be missed for sure. LeBron James did something that no one we've said. There's a sentence we have said a lot.
Yeah,
LeBron James did something that no one else has ever done in NBA history last night. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 17. Give me the facts that tell you that he's going to be better. Give me the facts that tell you that this is a better bet. There's some economics, 2 years versus 1. If he was dug in at 2, maybe it's a different conversation. Doesn't sound to me like he was dug in at 2. But where are the facts that J.D. Martinez is going to be a lot better than Justin Turner? I don't see them. I like the construct, but I don't necessarily agree. And I'll be honest, we were talking a little during the break, Slee. Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody's kind of in the, look, I love him too, but it's time for him to go. Mm-hmm. Okay, but do you like what they got instead? That I'm not mad that he's gone. I'm mad that he's gone and this is his replacement. Mm-hmm. That's the part. You've replaced him with the same guy. Not that you replaced him. Replace him with a younger player, a better player, more upside in a player. Sure. But this, hey, I love him too, but it's time to go. Well, that can't be just the whole end of the conversation.
So you've always said this about the front office. Got a lot of faith in them.
A ton.
And you should. There's a resume that's built since the Guggenheim group took over, that you should show confidence in what they present every single year. I think this might be one of those that you might have to kind of hold some faith in them, that they think they could do something with J.D. Martinez here in L.A. Around this roster that will cater more towards where the Dodgers are hoping or what they're hoping to accomplish this season. Bring up some younger players. He'll be more just specifically DH. He'll probably very rarely play third base or whatever the case is. This might be one of those, because what you're saying about, I don't think J.D. Martinez is really any that much different than Justin Turner. Berg was saying, no, there is differences to it. I feel like most of the listeners are saying, I just want to see something different, without saying, you're talking about J.D. Martinez, he's going to do this. I don't really feel like that's happening.
If we're going to give Miguel Vargas 500 at-bats, cool. Let's see what it looks like. If that's the plan, fine. I'm okay with that, but we're going to give those 500 to the same guy. Anyway, we're going around in circles. LeBron James has now scored 40 or more points against every team in the league.
Yes.
All 30.
That is factual.
The Clippers were the last team standing until last night when he did it.
Do you know the other two that were stuck at 29? I thought I saw this yesterday.
I'm going to take a guess that
one of them currently playing.
One of them's currently playing.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
This one will be tougher to guess, the one currently playing, because I would not have guessed it.
Is it Devin Booker?
It's James Harden.
Okay, yeah. That feels, because
you almost forget the guy was doing what he was doing in Houston, and Kobe the other one.
Oh, okay.
Both of those squads, or both of those players sat at 29.
Guess Kareem, but Kobe didn't have a chance. He only played for one team, right? So that's
right.
Yeah, he
literally
didn't have a chance.
Genuinely, that's literally the definition of you have no shot.
Right. So LeBron is now another line on his resume of, hey, who's the only player to do this? Now we've got like Wilt Chamberlain and LeBron. There's two guys that the answer will always be Wilt Chamberlain and LeBron. And he said something after the game last night that I understand, but I wish it wasn't happening.
We'll see when we get there. We'll see what will it hit me. Just over the last few years, the last couple of years since we won a championship, just a lot of accomplishments been happening on losing effort. So it's been very kind of difficult to kind of even digest some of my own accomplishments, because I want to celebrate on losses.
I get it. Nobody does. Nobody wants to celebrate something on a night when you didn't win the game. I understand that, but I don't think there's a person on earth that's walking around that doesn't think LeBron James wants to win basketball games. That LeBron isn't about as competitive a human being as there is. I do think it's okay, and LeBron is certainly not the only person to do this. They all do it, and I don't like it. It's okay to say, yeah. I mean, it just means I've been around a long time. I've been really healthy. I've been really good. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. I wish we would have won the game. Just enjoy the cool thing that happens, because he's going to pass Kareem here, coming to, 178 points away, and there's at least a chance it could come in a loss, and I don't want it to be anything other than a celebration because, we didn't win the game. It's okay. We know you want to. We know you're not in this for individual accomplishments, that you're in this for team accomplishments. I think it's okay to take a moment if it's a legendary, not that you got a career high and you lost. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Something that took you 20 years to accomplish, and somebody says, what do you think about this? Yeah, it's pretty cool. And even if we lost the game tonight, just enjoy the moment.
So I half believe him. I think Bron, listen, I think he knows he's coming into that game yesterday, and he knows there's one team left that he hasn't scored 40 on. I do believe that, okay? And I do believe that he's trying to drop 40 if he can. Now, What I don't believe would happen is Bron's at 37 points and the team is up 3 and he takes a bad 3-point shot to get to 40 and it costs the Lakers the game.
Never.
I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't either.
But I do think he definitely pays attention to those records that are in front of him, certain accomplishments. I do think that is in the back of his mind. The part of he maybe has difficulty appreciating the moment because the last couple of years, Lakers didn't make the playoffs last year. It was an awful year. The year before, you're out in the first round. This year, they're 4 games below 500. They're 22 and 26 to 13th place in the West. So I kind of understand where he's coming from. I think the Kareem piece of it,
yeah, but
that's a different one. That's an unbelievably special moment.
Yes.
I really actually do think as we get a little bit closer, and we're close. We're only like 6 games away if he goes 30 a game. That will be one of those where I definitely think he has to sit back. And
I hope he appreciates it for what it is because it is a lifetime achievement. It isn't, for instance, Thomas Bryant didn't get a career high last night and they got blown out by the Clippers. And if he was like, yeah, man, I can't believe it. That's weird. Mm-hmm. But something that took you 20 years to build, whether it's the Kareem record, whether it's 40 against every team in the league, that is I just didn't have a good night. This is another thing that I've accomplished in my career that it's okay to say, yeah, man, it's hard to believe I've been around long enough to do that. It's hard to. I want these guys to enjoy the amazing things they've done, even if it comes on a night where your team wasn't successful. And I hope that when he goes home and he has his glass of wine, he's like, yeah, it's pretty rad. That's pretty cool. That only I have done this thing. That's pretty neat. I want them to enjoy those moments.
Well, Bron, too, I think what's unique about him, what hasn't he done in the NBA? MVPs, okay, got him. Finals MVPs, okay, cool, got those too.
Only
Championships,
player to win 3 Finals MVPs with 3 different teams.
Championships, yeah, got those. Did I get one with the Lakers? I did. I actually helped them tie the Boston Celtics for most championships ever. He's going to be top. Basically, he's going to be top 5 in assists. He'll be the all-time leading scorer. He's going to all these are going to happen. I think for him too, you can appreciate it more because there's nothing you haven't done. If you stop playing the game today, no one will ever have a conversation and say, hey, here are the top 5 players in the NBA or top 3 players in the NBA without mentioning his name. So
I want to go a step further.
I like the frustration because he wants to win.
Sure, but we knew that already.
Yeah.
No one's questioning LeBron's commitment to winning. It's an assumed fact. It's
actually, I will tell you, there have been people when he moved to LA that was, hey, he's here not to win championships. He's here to basically retire.
Yeah, but they won a I understand that, but he proved them wrong almost instantly. Mm-hmm. He proved them wrong in a season and a half. It's an argument that doesn't hold any water to me because he's clearly been competitive. When he was here, he won a title, so that's off the board. You mentioned that no one's going to talk about the greatest players in NBA history without mentioning him as one of those 3 names. That's been true for a while now. I want to go a step further, and I'm not looking for the debate of Jordan, Kareem, or LeBron, but what we're getting into now is, and by the way, he's not even close to being done.
He's 46 yesterday. He's averaging 30 a game.
Not even close to being done. The arguments on behalf of the other 2 guys are getting more and more tenuous because he's going to have the most points ever. He's going to pass Kareem there. Yeah, Jordan's 6-0, and that's never coming off the board. I get it.
Yep.
But LeBron might win another championship, maybe more than one. Maybe he won't. But he's got 4, and he's been to the finals, 10 times?
10 times.
Michael Jordan, I get it, 6-0. It's never coming down. But we're penalizing LeBron for getting further more often.
Look at the teams he took to the finals.
That's what I mean. He's got
KD
more
had
points.
to join the Warriors.
That's what I'm talking about. That there's all of these things that only he's done. Most points, most this, most that. 3-time Finals MVP with 3 different teams. That Jordan can have the 6-0. And I'm not here to make a case against Michael Jordan, but the case for LeBron gets
only getting
better
stronger. That's
every single night. Mm-hmm. And it can only go up. There's no, even if LeBron went to the finals again and he lost, stop, shut up. That's a ridiculous thing. He can only make it stronger. And those other guys are finished, and he's already kind of passed both of them. It's nuts. And it's just another thing last
It's funny
night.
when you say that about getting to the finals because that case is not made enough. Right? There's just if you actually stopped for a second and said, well, Jordan made it to the finals 6 times, he's 6-0. Well, how come he didn't make it to the finals 11 times? How come, Magic gets knocked for going 5-4?
Right. He went 9
He went 9 times to the NBA finals. You can't win every year.
Right.
Or
Larry Bird lost in the finals.
Go look at, and I put it this way too, and I think this is probably the best way to describe it. Go look at some of the teams he got to the NBA Finals. Remember his first year against the San Antonio Spurs, and it's like Boobie Gibson, and so it's like they're not
Eric Snow,
Very Zhao. I think that was the team. I can't remember. That case is not made enough. It's more of, well, he got there 6 times. He's 6-0, and I'm with you. I don't care about the argument. Pat Riley saying Kareem is the greatest ever. Fine. I think we will run in circles to make that argument, but that's a fair case to make.
He's not done yet. He's about to go past Kareem here in a week or two, and then he's going to play seasons more. He's going to have 40,000 points. He could have way more than 40,000 points by the time it's all said and done. He could bury Kareem.
Listen to this. He's 30.2 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 7 assists a game, 20th year in the league.
I'm off on Friday. You're off tomorrow?
Yeah.
Which means we're doing NFL picks today, and we're doing them next. Our NFL picks coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm here at the 909 Sports Bar here inside Yamava Casino, the greatest sports bar in Southern California and probably the world. Over 170 LED monitors, monster screens, people and energy, a massive amount of beers, and I promise you this, the food is off the charts. And then over there, 7,000 slot machines and hundreds of table games in this world-class resort. Yo, I'll see you here on Championship Sunday. Let's all get together for both games here at the 909 at Yamava.
Come out to the 909 at Yamava for our next watch party on January 29th.
Only 3 games left, Al. We've
This is
only
it.
got 3 games left
Watch
in
out.
the NFL season. Emily's comeback needs to start this weekend. You're going to have a big weekend, Em, if you want to get back into it. Here's what we got. Al is your leader, 25 points. I'm right on his heels with 24. Taylor, right in the mix at 19. And Emily is in fourth with
is
11.
going to have a big week.
I hope so. Well, I really don't. That's not true. I hope that you continue to be behind me. That's all really that I care about. All right, here we got 2 games. We got 2 over-unders and 2 props. 6 things. Al, pay attention. Look at me.
Man, there's a lot going on here. I'm looking at the sheet of paper.
6 games.
There's a lot of things going on
6.
here.
You got it?
I got it.
Okay.
I
And
got
also
it.
look at the screen.
Okay, good. Here we go. We'll start with, by the way, Em, you're going first this week.
Okay.
Here it is. San Francisco at Philly. Philly is a 2.5-point favorite. Emily Hebel.
All right, so it's in the Link. Link is a hard place to play. I think a coach quoted that it's 2 hours of hell when you go to the Link to play. I think that it strikes midnight for Brock Purdy. I have the Eagles at my 4.
Eagles at 4. Taylor.
I've got the Niners winning this, but I'm not too confident, so I'll put them at my 1.
All right, he has taken the Niners at 1. I'm up next. I think that the Brock Purdy experiment finally has a bad day. Not that he's a bad player, not that he won't be their quarterback moving forward, but I think this is an environment that he has not seen in a very long time. The Eagles are really good. They went 14-3 during the regular season.
Why do we give them no respect?
I don't know, but I'm giving them some respect
Last week I was
tonight.
giving them no respect either.
I'm going to lay the points. I think it is a field goal game. I'm going to take Philadelphia, but I'm going to put it right in the middle at number 3, Sleep.
All right, I'm going Eagles on this one too. I'm going to be a little bit higher here. I'm going 4 on the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, Taylor, you took them at 5, right?
Took about 4.
Oh, I'm glad I asked because I'm going to fix that there. Fixed, back where they're supposed to be. Taylor going first here on the other game. Cincinnati on the road in Kansas City. The Kansas City Chiefs, home dogs in the AFC Championship game. 1.5-point spread, almost a pick 'em. What do you got, Taylor?
I'm going Cincy, putting them at 4.
Cincinnati at 4. This one comes back to me. I've been on Cincinnati every week during the playoffs. I missed one, and I hit one. I'm going to stick with them. I think they win the game. I think they're the better team. Patrick Mahomes is hurt, and it just feels like the Bengals are the team playing their best football at the most important time. In the middle of the season, it's like, what's wrong with them? Since the middle of the season, they've been awesome in putting it on people. All the way at the top, give me the Bengals at 6.
Wow.
Taking the road favorite at 6.
All right, if you're going 6 there, this is going to make or break the entire season. I think a lot of people are kind of just writing the Chiefs off right now, which I kind of understand the theory behind it. I'm not confident about the pick. I'm going to go Chiefs 1.
KC at 1. That's a big swing right there, Slee. Somebody's getting a big boost on that game. M.
All right, so Patrick Mahomes said he will play this weekend. So hobbled Mahomes. Also, who knows if he'll play the entire game. It is in Arrowhead, but I do think that the Joe Burrow owns the Chiefs. So Bengals 3.
Bengals at 3 for Emily, and we go to the next one. This is a combo, or I should say an over-under. Go back to the first game, San Francisco, Philadelphia. It is 46. I'm going first here. I'm going to do what paid me last week. I'm going to go with the under. I'm going to take that one at 4. So I've got the San Francisco, Philly under at 4, Slee.
Under 2 on this one.
Under 2, SF, Philly under at 2. Emily.
All right, guys, don't be a loser. Don't be not
Don't hate
cool.
fun.
Don't hate fun.
We were losers by going over last week.
Not me.
So I'm going to do the over again, but at my 1.
All right, so San Francisco, Philly over. Should I scratch it out now, or do you want me to wait till Sunday?
Oh, wait till Sunday, please.
Taylor, what do you got?
I've got under at 5.
All right. Ooh, he's going to over-under high, Slee. I'm a little perplexed by that. That could be a...
He's throwing
be a
us
big
off
one.
here.
I know. All right, Al, you're batting lead off on this one.
Okay.
The other one, 47-point over-under, Kansas City and Cincinnati.
All right, so I have... What I got left here? I got my 1, 2, 4, 5, so 3 and a 6 here.
You have 3, 5, and 6 left.
I'm going to go... That's right. All right, I'm going to go 3, and I'm going to stay with an under on this.
Okay. M.
Okay, so over 2.
Over 2. Taylor.
This is Bengals Chiefs?
Yes.
Okay. I got over at 2.
See, both of them going over. And I'm obviously going to take the under again at 5. because it's supposed to be 12 degrees.
Yeah, it's supposed to be freezing out there.
Don't know if you're going to have a whole bunch of points. So let's see, KC, Cincinnati, under right there. And now we got a couple of props going on.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Brock Purdy has been not good, not very good. He's been borderline great since he's come in Jimmy Garoppolo. Has not lost a single game. The simple fact that the over-under on his interceptions is 0.5 tells you how good he's been. So you either think he's going to throw one or not. This goes back to the top with you, Emily. Who do you got?
Okay, so Brock Purdy has had 4 interceptions in his time as a starting quarterback for the 49ers, and he has not thrown in the postseason yet. The Eagles, on the other hand, have a lot of turnovers this season. They are a great defense. I'm putting over. I think he's going to throw an interception over at 6.
All right, Purdy over at 6. Taylor.
I have the same thing, actually. I got Purdy throwing at least 1. So
Purdy
putting that at 6.
Over. Al. Oh, no, it's my turn. I'm taking over, too. Nobody goes through the playoffs without throwing an interception, right? Especially Mr. Irrelevant in his first game or his first year in the league. I like it so much, I'm going to put it at 1. I'm going all the way at the bottom. He's got to throw one eventually, I think.
All right, this is I'm actually with Taylor, and I'm with Emily on this one. It's my 6. Purdy throws 1.
Okay.
Throws 1 pick.
Can I change mine to just for no other reason? I want that 1 point because I just want. Now I'm rooting against it. I just want it to happen. Last one, Taylor, you're going first here. Joe Burrow throws more or less than 273.5 yards in the game on Sunday.
I think he throws more. My over at 3.
All right, Burrow over, and this comes back to me. I'm going to go Burrow under at number 2. Al.
I'm riding the under wave. I went all 3 unders. I'm going under, at least on the a couple of these under. I'll go 5 on this one. Tell me what I got left.
And Emily, you have 5. Are you over or under?
All right, so I looked into it too. He hasn't thrown over or number a lot. It's going to be cold in KC. I could see it being a tough drag-out game. I have under, and it's my 5.
All right, so here's what I'm seeing here just at a glance. We have a lot of the same picks other than the Cincinnati and KC. That's the one, but I'm just looking at you and Measley. I figure we're going to pull away from these suckers here before too long. But that could be the difference. The AFC Championship.
Trav is the 8-year-olds that were like this.
Hey,
after
I only get so many chances to do it. I'm going to definitely. By the way, if I'm right, it's going to be hard to be around come Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not actually all that confident in the KC pick, but damn, everyone's writing these guys off like they're nothing.
Well, do you think that
you're right?
Him playing is better or worse for the Chiefs? Because you're having Patrick Mahomes, but you might not have at 100% Patrick Mahomes, as opposed to Chad Henne.
Chad Henne's their backup.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? It's more for me. The Bengals defense has been so good. It's the combination of he's not 100%. I think I just saw he did his little presser. He didn't have a boot on or anything like that. Said he's playing, so we'll see.
You guys have heard me say this a lot. I'm a big believer in pick the team that's less scared. I don't think there is a less scared in this. I think they're both not scared at all. I think that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will play anybody anywhere. I don't think they care. I think the same thing is true of Joe Burrow and his guys. So I don't know if that has a lot to do with it. It simply comes down. Look, high ankle sprains, guys miss months with that injury. They don't come back in 6 days or 7 days and play as well as they're supposed to. And I get it. Mahomes throws behind the back with his left hand, sidearm, hook shots and everything else. But what else?
Cincy will be bringing the pressure.
But he buys time by running around. He's not Lamar Jackson where he's super fast, but you don't kind of get to him. If he can't move around, feels like that could be a pretty big difference.
Chris Jones could get to Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow, the Bills did not get to Joe Burrow almost at all last week. That might be a
Burrow's
difference.
Got 2 functioning ankles.
Don't you hate, by the way, when you do these picks and you end up picking against what you actually want to happen? Like, I want to see the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. And now all of a sudden, here I am picking the Chiefs, and I'm like, gosh,
why do you want the Bengals?
I love their story. I love the fact that last year all I did was say, well, they're not going back there, right? Like, they got kind of caught lightning in a bottle and got to the Super Bowl, had a chance to win it. It's not a market that you're accustomed to being, having this much success. The Burrow story is amazing. There's a lot of good storylines.
There's a ton. Last year, once the playoffs started, I think everyone was out on $1 Million Madness because no one had Cincinnati.
That's right.
Right? Like the whole thing was kind of shot, and then Cincinnati kept winning. By the time we got to the Super Bowl, everybody was out. Emily, how many people did you say are still alive?
There are 7 people that are still alive, and none of them picked the Bengals.
None of them picked the Bengals
It's
again.
Chiefs. Now either they had the Eagles or the 49ers.
So
double check that insurance back there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just in
hope
case.
that thing was written right. Hope that thing's all squared away. The Dump, Super Crosstalk, coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm here at the 909 Sports Bar here inside Yamava Casino, the greatest sports bar in Southern California and probably the world. Over 170 LED monitors, monster screens, people and energy, a massive amount of beers, and I promise you this, the food is off the charts. And then over there, 7,000 slot machines and hundreds of table games in this world-class resort. Yo, I'll see you here on Championship Sunday. Let's all get together for both games here at the 909 at Yamava.
Come out to the 909 at Yamava for our next watch party on January 29th.
It was today in 1988 that Pitt's Jerome Lane shattered a backboard with a dunk, and Bill Raftery had an incredible send-it-in Jerome call along the way. Do you remember the first time you saw that, where somebody broke a backboard with a dunk? Shaq's done it.
I was going to say Shaq. Darvin Ham has one of those.
I know, at Texas Tech. In the tournament, I want to say.
But I want to say Shaq might be the first one. Wasn't Shaq? Wasn't it like inside the NBA or something like that, or was
where they would show it?
It was. I think he was doing an interview with. I know Shaq obviously has stuff in game, but I think he's done one.
He was with Ahmad Rashad doing that.
That's
interview.
who it was.
He
Ahmad
broke
Rashad.
it on just like to see if he could.
No, I think he was just dunking and he broke.
Yeah, they're just shooting the breeze, and then Shaq went up for a dunk two-handed and broke the whole damn thing.
I remember, and I don't know if this is the first one. It's
Who
the
else
first
has
one.
done it?
Daryl Dawkins was the first one when he was with the Sixers, I think. And Dawkins was a big guy, 7-footer, and really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And he went up for one, And I want to say it was pre-breakaway rims, right? So the rim was like fastened to the glass, but there wasn't that hinge that when you hang on it, it bends. It was just, if you hang on it, you either hang on it or it rips it out of the glass. And he hit it and pulled on it, and the backboard not only broke, it
Shattered.
exploded.
Yep,
It was
yep,
like it got
yep.
shot with a gun. The glass went everywhere, and I believe that was the beginning of breakaway. They're like, yeah, we need to have something that will give as opposed to send shards of glass all over the court. I think Daryl Dawkins was the first one.
Remember when Sasha? No, I'm kidding.
Steph Curry going up there and tearing a rim.
Steph Curry just ripped it out.
But when you look at Darvin, you're like, yeah, sure. I mean, he's a big guy.
Yep.
Obviously played in the NBA for a long time, but he's also big and strong and thick and powerful that he could rip a hoop out of the glass. Not a huge surprise.
Yeah, if there's a dude today in today's NBA, you're thinking like it's got to be Embiid. Somebody
Yes,
just
for sure.
weighs a lot too, right? Like Embiid has got
Embiid's the
power
right answer.
and he weighs
Not that he gets off
300.
the court by a ton, but like if Jokic jumped up there and yanked on that thing, he's a huge guy. It
Yeah.
feels like he's got some weight to him too. Giannis? Think Giannis could rip one through?
Giannis, no. Doesn't have to be two-handed. I feel like it's got to be your full everything. That's why I think we got it with Embiid. I think Embiid's the only one
the
right now
best
that
answer.
could
I'm
like.
just trying to think anybody else that could do it. You know, no Giannis. Giannis has got to be what, 260,
Giannis is
70?
ferocious,
I know.
and that's what makes it.
Right? LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron could be the
with that speed
Yep.
and that power.
Yep.
That seems like
and he
something
goes up
could
with
do.
two hands.
I'm surprised Shaq didn't break 3 a week. Like you know how they have like just have them lined up behind the basket. Just okay, broke that one. Bring a new one in here. Just keep one out. They go through 8 or 9 rims a night just because he keeps smashing them to pieces.
That's awesome. They're just all lined up, literally one after the other.
Just-
Yep.
There's a guy with a broom. Sweep up the bits of glass. Bring out the next one.
It's on the wheels, just the wheels that you have at your backyard.
It's like the paper toilet seat cover. You just rip out the next one, put it down, and let's go and play a little more NBA basketball. I don't understand this.
Okay.
Emily, help me out with this. Oreo is coming out with Oreo stuffed Oreos, which, if I understand it, it's going to have the chocolate cookie.
Yes.
And instead of just having the white cream in between it, it's white cream with additional pieces of Oreo cookie in it.
Yeah. It's like it's gonna be like.
Aren't we already eating that with just a regular Oreo? This feels like I don't think they've invented anything.
I think it's
The
just
most Oreo
stuff.
Oreo is what they call it, and it's limited edition.
But if an Oreo just has more Oreo in it, does it have anything in it? It's like the chicken and egg. If a tree falls in the forest and does it make a sound?
Does it help at all with the photo?
Well, I understand that it's basically cookies and cream filling, but you're already eating cookies and cream.
You're just getting less cream.
It's like eating chicken with chicken. It's
Yeah,
like
Actually, it's getting less cream.
But it's not. Look at how thick that is. That's a lot of
It's
cream.
a lot thicker than usual.
So you're getting your regular amount, if not additional cream, with bits of the cookie that you're already smashing in there with your teeth. I feel like this is a.
So is it triple stuffed or what?
Show him. It's a good. It's like that. It's a fat one.
It's going to be thick.
That's
two C's.
Looks like an ice cream.
Yeah, it
sandwich.
looks like an ice cream sandwich.
Looks amazing.
But it's the same.
Looks
thing.
amazing.
Like if you just ground up chocolate chip cookies and stuff them in between 2 other chocolate chip cookies, are you not just having
Travis
more
well,
cookies?
they probably. You know what they're probably saying? They're probably saying that, hey, let's fool all these people who are going to end up talking about this, and we'll get more extra publicity. And
I'm
we didn't
not-
do anything different.
I'm not worried about that. That's fine. That's my entire existence is talking about stuff that doesn't really need to be talked about all that much. I'm okay with that. I just want to be given a new cookie experience. I feel like I have had this experience before.
Travis, have you never had? Okay, so one, you could have Oreo ice cream and then have Oreo chunks in it.
Yes.
That's great. You could have strawberry ice cream with strawberries in it.
Yes.
Great. How is this that different than that?
Because strawberry ice cream typically does not have strawberries in it, right? There's not like chunks of strawberries in it.
Sometimes there's it.
Sometimes, but this feels to me you're just let's say you have 3 cookies, okay? We're going to pop off the top of two of the cookies. Here's your 2 chocolate cookies. We're going to take the remaining pieces. We're going to put them in a food processor, blend it into a thing, and put it in between the two remaining pieces.
Okay, if they
that's
did it,
that's exactly the same thing.
I would. It's an ice cream. It's essentially an ice cream sandwich, but instead of just the ice cream being like vanilla ice cream or whatever, it has chunks of cookie in it. It sounds great.
Just the flavor is available for pre-sale through the Oreo website starting Tuesday, and will hit the shelves at major retailers nationwide starting on January 31st. That's a retail price of $4.99.
I'd love a good Oreo. I'm going to sticking with the traditional. Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo will be teammates again in New York, and apparently part of the reason that Aaron Judge decided to stay with the Yankees
because the Oreos
is because his and Rizzo's dogs are, quote, best friends. I really hope that's not true. I really I like
That's
Aaron
the
Judge
best
a lot.
sales job you could possibly have. He didn't have that in Frisco.
How cute their dogs were. They were super cute.
Aaron Judge. First of all, that Aaron Judge has a little pocket dog is bothersome to begin with. The Aaron
He's
Judge
like a
is-
little wiener dog.
Yeah,
actually.
he's 6'8" or 9" or whatever it is. He's a huge guy, and that he's got a little teacup poodle or whatever the thing is. I don't know. He should have a Great Dane, something like that. He should have a huge dog. But that Rizzo and he are like, hey, don't go to the Giants. We can still be dog buddies here in New York.
I get it.
But how do you break it to your dog?
That's the pitch. That's the pitch that he had there. Forget everything else.
To answer your question, how do you break it to the dog? It's a dog. It doesn't know what's going on.
All right.
When you go to the dog park in San Francisco, it's going to make a new best friend in 6 seconds.
But Slee, okay, think about this.
Yeah.
Does Rookie have a best dog friend?
To be honest with you, she would know better than I do, because when I go walk the dog, it's kind of like, hey, this is pure business. We got some stuff that we got to handle. You got to do what you got to do, and we're going back inside. Or I take him to go play. It's like a community event when she goes out with him. He's saying hello to this dog, that dog. He's barking at dogs through the balcony. So there is friendship.
But it's every dog. It's not like he sees Rex and races across the park.
He's
to
more
party with
excited
Rex.
to see certain dogs than others.
He is.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so then if that was a really strong bond, like if Rookie really loved this one dog and you guys had to move to, I don't know, you guys moved to Santa Monica.
Then we have to move.
It would
we
be,
have to move.
But it would be hard on Rook.
Okay, I understand. I'm more curious, which story bothered you more, the Oreo or that Aaron Judge is hanging out with
the Oreo one, because the Oreo one is illogical, right? The Aaron Judge one I just disagree with. I understand the logic of it, but the Oreo thing is just patently illogical.
I've been thinking about the Oreo. It might distribute the flavor a little better in every bite.
Yeah.
Could do that.
But no, that's wrong. It's because once you chew it, it's all just smashed in your mouth.
Yeah, but
anyway.
that's an
another
extra step to get there. This is
Maybe
instantly
pre-chewed
with the
Oreos.
first chew
Okay.
that it gets it.
How do you eat an Oreo? Because personally, Emily eats, screws off one top. Nope. Please let me finish. Screws off the top. Then I lick the cream.
I don't do all that. No,
And then I put it back together, and then I dunk it. Okay, so if my cream has has different stuff in it, it has little bits of Oreo, it's gonna taste different. Everybody eats Oreos differently.
serious conversation right now, Mace.
I don't eat it. The answer to your question is as fast as I can, because they're
You
delicious.
just straight in?
Yes,
Yeah, I
I'm
eat straight in, too.
51 years old. I'm not 6.
What the heck?
I eat straight in.
Yeah, I mean, can I take a wild guess here?
Yeah.
You string your string cheese, don't you?
Of course I do,
yeah,
because it tastes better.
Two bites. Yeah, 2 bites. She's got
Bite it. It's exactly
That
the same
makes my
thing.
teeth hurt thinking about you guys biting straight into
bite it.
cheese.
Mace,
Okay,
are
can
you a
you
string
sell
cheese
Mason
fan?
on the?
Love string cheese.
Do
Yeah,
you
love
string it or do you just bite it?
I string.
You still
I
string it?
totally
On
string
animals.
Can I
my
tell you
string
something? Can I
cheese.
tell you something?
That's like one of the joys of
I
string
think
cheese.
that says something about people who string it, and
You
I think
think
it
so?
I think it says that they're patient people.
Yep.
That they take their time.
Yeah.
That
Savor
they
your
enjoy it.
mozzarella
and
cheese.
we're animals.
Yes.
Because we just take
I'm
a
gonna
bite
take a
into
guess.
it.
Do you
Yes,
guys both just eat it straight up? Like I get
Like
it
a
done
carrot.
at Starbucks.
Like a carrot stick.
No,
Just bite it off.
I string
Take
it
a bite.
out. I eat
I'm going
the
to guess
strings.
String
that
cheese for a
John
reason.
is not a string cheese eater in general. Is that true, John?
When I get that, when you buy the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at Starbucks,
Yeah.
they have a piece of string cheese in there.
Yes.
That's the only time I eat it.
Okay.
Do you
string
string
it or do you just bite it?
Bite it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, no, I'm a big. I like stringing it, man. There's like a whole string cheese process you go through.
I don't like it when you get it's thick at the top and then gets thin at the bottom. I don't
It's
like
true.
that.
It does get uneven. It's
I don't
very
like that. That's
frustrating.
why you
The
bite it.
top
Going
is-
too fast.
Yeah. Slow down.
It had savoring.
Yeah.
Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Mason and I are arguing about the Oreo cookie.
A lot of food debate today.
Well, he is very adamant about this new Oreo.
It's an illogical Oreo.
So the cream in an Oreo is like the most delicious cream.
I don't disagree.
So why don't you want an Oreo with more cream?
But it's not just the cream. It's literally more of the cream and the cookies.
They're putting more
What's
cookie.
an Oreo inside of an Oreo?
Yes.
Well, I don't think you need the extra cookie.
You see how
But
there's
bits
part
of
of the
cookie
cookie
in there.
in
Oh,
the...
no. Yeah, I'm with Travis now. I do not want bits of cookie in my Oreo cream. I want my double-stuffed Oreo with lots of cream.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Is it possible, I just want to suggest, that you guys are obsessing a little too much about the double Oreo?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
Just throwing it out.
It's
Absolutely
Oreos
it
and
is.
string cheese on
But
Super
look,
Crosstalk.
There's only so many things to obsess about on any given day. And
There you
these
go.
are the things that I choose
Okay,
to obsess
have
about.
at it.
Did you guys feel the earthquake?
No.
No?
Juan says he woke up. I did not feel it. It was
John?
like a...
I feel bad. My new puppy dog was going crazy, and I rolled over and said, "Shut up, Murphy," and I went back to bed. I didn't feel a thing.
So how big was it? I haven't followed.
4.2, I think.
Was it 4.2?
4.2?
Yeah.
Not big, but big enough to wake up. I was in Malibu.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it at all down at my place. So I didn't.
You know, not to be a doomsayer in any way, but aren't we kind of lucky that we haven't had another
We're way
Northridge?
over.
We're kind of due,
We're
aren't
way
we?
by like a couple of decades.
Right.
we're
Okay, that's
overdue.
scary.
Knocking.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Knocking on wood.
You're a native Southern Californian like I am, and this is just something that you live with. Mace, you've been here a very long time.
Yes.
Slee, I think we've discovered that San Diego doesn't have earthquakes because you're like, yeah, no, I never really had one along the way.
Felt them, but nothing, nothing crazy.
I always thought, oh, come on, earthquake's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And then Northridge happened, and I was like, oh, no.
It felt like the end of the world.
It really did. And I remember I was in a condo in Playa del Rey and had no transistor radio. All the lights were out. It was early in the morning, like it was...
It's like 5 a.m.
5 a.m., and we didn't know. Like, we knew we lived, but we didn't know what happened in the rest of Los Angeles.
Wow.
And because we didn't have a transistor radio, we had no way to, like, turn
Was
on...
that your first one since you've been in L.A.?
Big one.
Yeah.
That was the first big one.
John, do you remember all the duck and covers in school and diving under your desk and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
the funny thing happened to me on the Northridge earthquake. I'm living in San Diego, and my phone rings at 4 o'clock in the morning. I think I was out all night and picking up. It's my grandma in Florida. Are you okay? Yeah, fine. Why? Well, the earthquake. I go, the epicenter's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, look,
I'm like 3 hours south of there. She goes, oh, okay. Click.
My grandmother does this all the time, or did this all the time, where she'd see a story about mudslides and she would call me up and say, "Is your house okay? Because there's so many mudslides. There's fires. Did your house catch?" I've got a friend, college friend, who will. This is a great one. He said, "Are you near Modesto?" And I'm like, no, I'm not near Modesto, because there's a serial killer there, and they say there's up to 7 victims. I'm like, I'm nowhere near Modesto. Just because something happens in California doesn't mean it happens in my yard.
California's pretty big.
So the fire thing's a perfect one. I remember when San Diego had really bad fires. They've had a few, but as we all have in Southern California, it's like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, I remember. I was actually working at the Mighty 1090 then. I remember coming out to my car, and there was like
chunks of ash.
Ash, like an inch of ash on your car. It was insane.
But there were, anytime there are fires, there's family members calling in, hey, and it could be in Rancho Bernardo, right?
Right.
And they're calling in saying, okay, so I heard El Cajon is in flames. No, they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
That's Rancho Bernardo.
When did you move to L.A.?
I moved to L.A. first in 1987, then I went back to Ohio, came back in 91.
John, do you remember what it was like? Because when you were telling your story about the Modesto serial killer,
yes.
I immediately flashed back on when Richard Ramirez was
the
running
Night
around
Stalker?
out here. Yeah. And
was it Mace? Was it A. Martinez who was on that jury?
No, A. Martinez was in a car with Richard Ramirez.
Oh.
Like he had I don't know if it's friends, but A. Martinez wound up in a car with Richard Ramirez, not knowing that he was the Night Stalker. Yeah, and later it's like, oh my God, I was in the car with the Night Stalker. So I read this great book about the Night Stalker, and he would go to this place called, is it the Velvet Turtle? Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
There was a place called the Velvet Turtle.
Yes.
And he would go park in the parking lot, and he would get whacked out on whatever he was using.
Jeez.
Then he would get on the freeway. He'd randomly exit somewhere. He'd go down some street, and he'd check doors, and he would only go
Look
in
for
when the
unlocked
door
doors and
was
windows.
unlocked. And I always
If
thought
that's not a story to tell you to lock your door, I don't know what is.
I always thought to be a neighbor knowing that you had locked your
Mace.
door.
So he got 2 people in Arcadia, where I'm from.
Oh, really?
Okay, 2 in my neighborhood, like not far away from it. We were a family. We never locked our door. We never locked our windows, and then all of a sudden the place was buttoned up like a fortress.
Oh, damn.
I don't think he came as far south as where
No.
you were. You never had to think of him.
There are
coming
very
through
few
your window.
serial killers in Newport Beach for some reason.
Well, that's
I
what
don't
you
know.
think.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah, they just
Let's
tend,
hope not.
They tend to go north of there.
Put that at the top of the list. Never mind earthquakes. That
No,
was
forget
Serial
that.
killers
the scariest.
worse.
It's the most frightened I've ever been in my entire life.
Oh, when they were-
and I was in the 8th grade.
Yes,
so
in your neighborhood.
2.
Wow.
2
That's
people.
scary.
Yeah, no. Did you see the Netflix documentary on that guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need more details
insane.
on the A. Martinez story.
Yeah, we'll have to call. We'll have to call him.
we'll call
I
A.
can't remember, but he has some weird connect. I thought it was on the jury. He was riding in a car. That's even
He
worse.
was in a car with Richard Ramirez at some point. We should call
I thought
A.
he got
Martinez.
called for jury duty and
Didn't get
I'll text him.
set for the
I
jury?
can't remember what the story was.
Have you ever gotten
No,
set on a
thank you.
jury?